bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Wednesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all things going on that's trending in hot topics and pop culture. So if that is a show for you, definitely stick around because we have an action-packed show today. Look, it was a struggle trying to put this show together, but I found some stuff and we're going to talk. So we got to talk about which actress dethroned Scarlett Johansson as one of the highest grossing actors of all time. We'll get into that. Plus, we got to talk about the box office predictions regarding 28 Years Later. That's about to come out tomorrow because, you know, they always release movies around 7 o'clock. And DaCosta is breaking her silence on directing the Marvels, which a lot of people have been dragging her over and all this other stuff over the years. So she's finally breaking her silence regarding that. We got to talk about they're rebooting one of my favorite all-time shows growing up as a kid, Power Rangers, and which actress is in talks to play Rita Repulsa, and Disney Plus is creating it and all the other stuff. Plus, news broke probably about an hour ago. We found out Kratos apparently from Prime Video's upcoming God of War series. Plus, we got to talk about this. There's another update regarding this whole Paramount, Netflix, Warner Brothers situation. Now Netflix is saying they want to do an all cash deal. They're like, we tired of Paramount and they BS. We want to give y'all all cash up front and shut them the hell up, and then let's get this deal up and running. Then we got to get into some messy news because apparently another former cast member of and Just Like That in Sex and the City is coming for Sarah Jessica Parker. So we have that news. Yes, apparently Kim Cattrall's not the only one that don't like her over there. So we got to get into that team. Plus, Chelsea Handler's throwing shade at Timothee Chalamet, and I'm sorry to say, but I'm kind of agreeing with her. We got to talk about this story regarding Timothy Busfield. I was going to bring it up a couple of days ago, but I needed more details regarding this story. But now that I got all my I's out of my T's crossed and I did my deep dive and my research, oh bitch, we got a lot to tea to spill regarding that. Then we got to talk about Babs Bunny, who used to be a part of the band, The Band, who's spilling some tea about Auntie McClurkin, saying her bestie went and had relations with him when he was underage. So we get into that. Plus, we got some news regarding Chris Brown's $500 million defamation suit over that History of Violence documentary. We got to talk Kandi and Todd. Their marriage's situation is getting a lot uglier. I was not expecting their relationship to go there, but apparently it is. Plus, we got to talk about this big elephant in the room that we all talked about weeks ago, but now the trades are talking about it, so let's just entertain their buffoonery. Apparently, it's news to them that NeNe Leakes is coming back to Bravo. We talked about this weeks ago. So, excuse me. We'll talk about that. Plus, people get mad because Rihanna out here entertaining the idea of having another damn baby. They're like, girl, we want an album. Stop spreading your legs and having babies with ASAP. So we'll get into that. And we got some good news regarding Bob the Drag Queen. So that and a whole lot more. So before we get to the tea, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. Let me hit my thingamabob so I can see everybody up in here. We got Sailor Mermaid in the building, Cleveland, San Feliz Miércoles, and that to you too, daughter. No, I'm sorry. Well, she older than me. I can't be calling her daughter. It's no shade. Look, when we are of a certain age, we still look youthful. We need to celebrate it. But anyway, let me hit my banner and let's get right into the topics. And so I guess we can give a huge congratulations to Zoe Saldaña, who keeps going back and forth between her and Scarlett Johansson. They keep doing this whole back and forth thing because one minute it be Zoe, then when Scarlett drop a movie, then she ends up being the top girl, and then when Zoe comes out with another damn Avatar movie, she ends up being at the top. So now Zoe's back on top as the highest grossing actor of all time because of the Avatar movies. And so shout out to her for that. So let's get into the story. Shout out to Variety for the story, by the way. Now, Academy Award winner Zoe Saldaña is officially the highest grossing actor of all time, thanks to Avatar, Fire and Ash. Saldaña has starred in the 3 highest grossing films of all time, 2009's Avatar, and its 2022 sequel, The Way of Water, which hold the number 1 and number 3 spots respectively, as well as 2019's Avengers Endgame, sandwiched at number 2. She is also the first actress to appear in 4 movies that have generated more than $2 billion globally, including 2018's Avengers Infinity War. In addition to Avatar and her other Marvel Cinematic Universe appearances as Gamora, and y'all already know she was in 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, Saldaña also portrayed Nyota Uhura in a Star Trek trilogy, which generated more than $1 billion worldwide. Now, as of 2024, Saldaña's global box office haul totaled more than $14 billion, putting her as the 3rd highest grossing actor behind fellow MCU stars Scarlett Johansson and Samuel L. Jackson. However, Saldaña has propelled to the number 1 spot after this December's Avatar threequel, which has earned $1.23 billion to date. Now her films have amassed a combined $15.47 billion, according to a tally by the numbers. And also, she did go on her Instagram and she posted a video, I guess, thanking the fans and all the other stuff. I do have that clip. Hold on as I get to the clip. Because, right now I got a library full of stuff in here. And then we'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
Hi guys, I just want to express my sincerest gratitude for the extraordinary journey that has led me to become the highest grossing film actor of all time today. An achievement made possibly entirely by the incredible franchises and the collaborators that I have been fortunate enough to be a part of. To every director who placed their trust in me, thank you. J.J. Abrams, Joe and Anthony Russo, James Gunn, and most importantly, thank you, James Cameron, for believing in my potential, for seeing something in me that I have not always seen in myself, and for challenging me to always rise to the occasion. Your faith, your guidance, and your vision, they shape not only these films, but me as an artist. And to the fans around the world, thank you. Thank you. Your unwavering support, passion, and loyalty are the true foundation of this milestone. None of this exists without you showing up time and time again with open hearts and enthusiasm. This accomplishment belongs to all of us, and I'm deeply grateful and profoundly humbled. And may the next record breaker be another woman. Bye.
It kind of looked like she was in a trailer as she was saying that. But yeah, so congratulations to her. I would like to see Zoe get back into doing other type of films, so not to be so cucked to the Avatar movies, because I know James Cameron's he hasn't really been upfront whether or not they're going to do a 4th one. They're doing a 4th one. If it's making all this money, trust and believe she's going to be back in the 4th one. But at this point, where do they go with her story? So I would like to see her back in other things. I always liked when Zoe was doing action stuff, but then it kind of like Colombiana and things like that. But then she kind of teetered off that a little bit, I guess, because maybe those movies weren't doing all that well at the box office. But I always saw her in the same reign of like Kate Beckinsale or Mila Jovovich, where she would do like those. She was like an action movie star, and so I want to see her get back into doing more of that. So congratulations to you, Zoe. It is well deserved, and I know she won that Oscar for that Emilia Perez movie, which was terrible. But she was good in it. And so congratulations to her. And I'm sure that when the next movie, I don't know what it will be. What is I was like, what is Scarlett Johansson? Well, she's supposed to do the Batman Part 2. That'll probably do well. Obviously, it's going to do well financially. I think the last movie did $700 million with her and all of them being in it. It'll probably hit that $1 billion mark. Hopefully it does. She's going to be shooting The Exorcist soon in New York. I don't see that as a $1 billion movie because it's The Exorcist. Like, those movies don't make that kind of money. But I'll be entertained to see, I'll be interested to see where Scarlett's going to go in regards to trying to dethrone Zoe, but I don't see it happening for a while as long as these Avatar movies keep coming out. So anyway, I say all this to say to you, what do you guys think of this story regarding Zoe Saldaña going back and forth with Scarlett as the highest grossing actor of all time whenever they tend to trade places? Well, Zoe's back on top for now. So we'll see how that all accumulates in the time being. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. He said, not daughter. Congratulations. I like Zoe. One thing I can't take from her, yes, she is a good actress and she's gorgeous. All right. So, okay, so now let's go for the Na'vi. to zombies. Let's talk about 28 years later. So 28 years later, the Bone Temple is supposed to be coming out on Friday, technically tomorrow, because I don't know if they do it everywhere, but I always assume like Thursday at 7:00 they always release new movies and stuff in New York and beyond. Well, 28 years later, it's supposed to be coming out, and it's getting great reviews. I'm hoping that it's good. I mean, the first 28 years later, when I saw that in movies around the same time, damn, I can't believe it's been a year already. January of last year, there were parts of the movie I liked. There were parts of the movie I didn't like. I didn't like some of the cinematic camera shots and things. I don't like certain directing decisions that they were making, that was being made making the movie. Like there were certain camera shots, like with the kills, whatever, and the camera would like spin around. I'm like, what is that? They would freeze and spin. I didn't like that whole 360 thing with the cameras. I was like, that's stupid. But I understand you were trying to do something different. The ending I hated because it's like all of a sudden we're going into this dark, serious, dreary film, and then we get to the third act, and all of a sudden it's like we got a bunch of goddamn colorful suit wearing Power Rangers flipping around killing zombies. I'm like, what the hell is this? But then it was explained to me that it was kind of like more of a British vibe that was with that scene. So that made me understand more. And then I watched it a second time, because that was like when I saw it in the movies. I was like, I didn't know what to think of it. But then when I saw it a second time, when it dropped on Netflix, I was like, you know what? I kind of enjoyed the movie a lot more watching it the second time. I guess probably because when I first saw it, I didn't know what I expected one thing. And then when I saw it, it was like, this wasn't what I expected. But once you come to terms and you're at peace with the story that directors are trying to tell with their film, then it's like, okay, I get what they were trying to do. I'm at peace with it. Now let me go in and try to make sense of what it is that I'm watching and then, take it from there. I don't be up in here like some of y'all be talking about, I don't like that movie. Let's sign a petition to have them redo it. I'm like, shut up. Movies are subjective. Art is subjective. And some things we're going to like, some things we're not. But anyway, so what they're saying is, speaking of Avatar and everything, they're saying that 28 years later might be the movie this weekend that comes out that will dethrone Avatar from its #1 spot at the box office. So shout out to Deadline for this news. They said, so Sony 28 years later, the Bone Temple is still looking at a 20 million plus 4-day opening at 3,400 sites in North America, finally unseating 20th Century Studios' Avatar Fire and Ash from #1 in its 5th frame. That movie is looking like 18 million, to 19 million over the MLK holiday weekend. Previews for Bone Temple start at 2 p.m. Thursday in 2,900 sites. Avatar 3 still IMAX theaters, a majority of PLFs, while the infected, don't call them zombies, they're fucking zombies, have some PLF screens. The best heat in first choice for Bone Temple is from guys over 25. The movie's temperature on tracking in first choice is about as hot as New Line's Evil Dead Rise, which brought in 24.5 million in 2023, and Focus features Nosferatu, which I was bored with, by the way, 21.6 million 3-day in 2024, and way hotter than Paramount's Primate, 11 million opening last week. Well, that movie wasn't good, but I had a good time with it. There was so many stupid decisions those kids was making in that damn movie, but overall, all that aside, I enjoyed Primate for what it was. 28 years later benefit from previews on Juneteenth, which propelled the Danny Boyle Hollywood Horror Threequel, to a 30 million opening last summer. One of the best for horror. Well, I forgot. Why do I think it came out in January? It didn't come out in January. It came out in the summer, which was weird that it came out around that time, but it did well enough. They said production cost on Bone Temple was 63 million net, while 28 years later was 60 before global PA spin. So the thing is, they spent $3 more million on the Bone Temple than they did the first one. So they said there's no Rotten Tomatoes critic score on Bone Temple yet, but the last 28 years later did 89% with critics, 63% with audiences, a B Cinema score, and an OK 52% definite recommend on Screen Engine ComScore post talk, with a big turnout for men over 25, about 49%, followed by 26% women over 25. Wait, they said, so wait, more women turn, is it because that Alpha and his ding-a-ling was all out? Is that why more women came? I mean, word on the street is you get to see a whole lot more of that in this upcoming movie. So they covered the movie. They did that for the commercial. But it's like, nah, Dingling's still out and swinging. But I'm like, look, it's part of the movie. It is what it is. Everybody need to get over the fact of them seeing nudity on TV. We all was born naked, and the rest is drag, according to RuPaul. So now they said overseas, Bone Temple unseals itself Wednesday in the UK, France, Belgium, and Indonesia. Then in Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, Germany, Mexico, Italy, Netherlands, and Saudi Arabia on Thursday, followed by Japan, Poland, and Spain on Friday. That's a 98% offshore footprint, except Korea and Thailand. That will be one reason why I want to move to Thailand. Y'all be getting shit mad late. So MLK used to be a time where studios would put pedal to the metal mid-January, but the Nia DaCosta directed horror sequel, penned by Alex Garland, penned and produced by Boyle, is the only major studio release. Yeah, there's not really a lot coming out this weekend except this 28 Years Later movie. Seems like every week they got a new thing coming out. I would have thought they would have tried to put out other stuff, but maybe people are afraid to go up against Avatar. But at this point, Avatar's been out for what, like 3 weeks already? I think everybody who's wanting to see it have seen it already. So we also have Hamnet is expanding in theaters from 2032 to about 500 sites after it was winning a bunch of things at the Golden Globes. And Dead Man's Wire, which was a film by Gus Van Sant, is going to break north of 1,000 theaters in weekend 2. And so that's what they have coming out now. But I don't know if anybody's really all that excited for those movies. So they're fine with that. But I feel like the movie I'm looking forward to is 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. I'm actually going to go see it on Friday. So I'll let you all know how it is once we cross that bridge. Now, speaking of the Bone Temple and things of that nature, let's get into this story about Nia DaCosta. So she is, she directed the film. Danny Boyle didn't direct this one. I believe he is going to come back and direct the third one once they get everything situated with that. Then he's going to come back and direct the third and final one. So they say it's the third and final one, because you know how they are with these damn sequels. If it does well enough, they want to keep expanding on the franchise until we get tired of it. I mean, look, we're about to go on our 7th Scream, which, sidebar, they're supposed to be dropping, they say, a trailer tomorrow. So Nia DaCosta is finally opening up about filming the Marvels, which, everybody was dragging her over that. She's done the Marvels. She did a remake of Candyman. I know people have a love-hate relationship with that film. She also did the movie Hedda with Tessa Thompson. I still haven't seen that movie, but I've heard that one's gotten mixed reviews too. But everybody, from what I've been hearing, they said that they've been liking what she's done, director-wise, what she's done with this film. So she has spoken out about the struggles of helming the Marvels. And here's what she told Deadline. She said, "It's so interesting because the Marvel machine had so much chatter around it." This is what she recalled. "But when I look back on it, everyone tried their best. Everyone was trying to make a great film. And I will say, I'm really happy to have those relationships. I was just visiting the Avengers set last summer, which was really fun, catching up with the producers, seeing the Russos, and some of my friends were in the movie. So it was really nice, despite how everything went with the box office and the reviews, knowing that the relationships are so good." She says, "I look back and everyone tried their best and everyone was trying to do the right thing, and it is what it is." So basically, it's like, you don't want to call out Marvel for their interference. You don't want to, and because they were interfering a lot. If you look at a lot of those films during that period when the Marvels and so many other films came out, there was a sense of uncertainty that the people that were there, especially when it was under Bob Chapek, they didn't know what they were doing. They were just, I guess, taking pieces of bologna, flinging it at the wall and seeing what stuck. They had no idea or no plan. Also, I think that Kevin Feige was stretched thin and can only do what he could at the time. And there was too much interference in the movie because the film felt like it was all over the place. I mean, there were parts, I will admit, there are parts of the Marvels that I like, and there's parts of the Marvels where I'm like, what? Like, what was the point of that whole dance sequence? Like, am I watching the Marvels or am I watching, a musical or whatever? Like, it just didn't fit within what a lot of the things that they were throwing in there. It just didn't make sense to me. So the movie kind of annoyed me, but it's not as bad as other films that we've seen. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. That movie is atrocious. I can't even sit through that thing. That's how bad that movie was. But the Marvels, when I look at that, I could definitely watch that more than, like, if I put that on, I wouldn't feel irritated watching it versus Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. So there you have it in regards to that. And I definitely want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this story? Are you planning on going to see 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple over the weekend? And what did you think about DaCosta's politically incorrect commentary, excuse me, on this movie, on the Marvels? Because I'm like, duh, I think anybody who goes in to make a film does the best they could. You know, we all worked hard and we all did the best we could with what we were, you know, with what we had, and it is what it is. Like, I would think that would be more different. All directors would say that. Like, it's the diplomatic comment. So, not surprised she would say something like that, but we could read between the lines, sis. So, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I do agree with that. If she does do another Jurassic movie, which I think she will, yeah, I could definitely see her doing that. Onyx is in the building. So, any thoughts? I knew somebody was going to ask me this. That's why I watched the trailer before I came on this live. In fact, I was catching up on a lot of trailers before I came on because I knew y'all was like, y'all not going to give me. And it said, I like what I saw so far. Well, I wasn't surprised that Cassie is a cam girl. We all knew that was coming. I mean, what else you gonna do? Get an actual job? So, I like the trailer. Tone, it feels a little crazy, and the fact that Rue has to work off her drug debts, and you got the lady from the last season, and then Adewale well, you know, I always call him Adebisi from Oz. He's they're all trying to fight over her, whatever the case is, and then Jacob Elordi is trying to create this life for Cassie, and this bitch don't appreciate it, and he seemed like he's going on a downward spiral. I'm glad we got Coleman Domingo up in there. I'm mad we're not getting a lot of characters. I know Rosalia's on the show. I'm definitely curious to see what her part is going to be. And then we got Jules as a sugar baby. I'm like, child, what is going on? So it looks like it's going to be a crazy wild ride. So I'm looking forward to the new season. I was in New York when I saw the last movie in June. I mean, 20 years later, I enjoyed it, but I already said what I said regarding it. Like, I enjoyed the film, but there was parts where I was like, I didn't like some of the directing shots and decisions and stuff that they were making with it. But I'm like, the creative choices, I guess I could say, but it is what it is. So I guess the rumors of Euphoria season 3 not airing due to the Sydney Sweeney and that stunt casting. Wait, who said they weren't going to air the show? That would be dumb if we put all that energy into the final season and them to not air it because of what's going on with Sydney Sweeney. HBO ain't spending all that money to not air something. I didn't even know he was producing Euphoria. I may have to look at the line of notes. I'm like, Drake produces Euphoria? No, I don't think there was ever any intention of them not airing the show. First of all, Sydney Sweeney is not the show. I think, well, it's Zendaya's project. She is an executive producer on it. And she's like, I ain't going to be put out no coins or whatever the case is because of her. And yeah, because I ain't even hear nothing about this. So I was like, look, like I always say, you can't believe everything you hear on the internet. But anyway, let's get back into the show. And let's talk about Joe Jonas' wife, or Nick Jonas, my bad. Priyanka. She got a new job, well, allegedly, because word on the street is she might be our new Rita Repulsa. Now, one of the things I will say is that as a kid, one of my favorite shows of all time, no shade, is Power Rangers. I used to run home for school so I can catch that damn show. So, love me some Power Rangers. You know, I'm all for the original cast, you know, with who was it, Trini and Julie and all of them that was on that show, and the Blue Ranger, who we all found out later is a homosexual. So that was my and the one that got 4 fingers on one hand. I forgot his name, the Black Ranger. So yeah, that was my show growing up. I used to love seeing all that because it kind of reminded me of like Voltron and that sort of things. And I thought that's what that was. I was like, Voltron was a martial arts, it was live action. I'm here for it, given kind of very kaiju and all that other stuff. So apparently, I didn't know this. Disney Plus is planning on rebooting Power Rangers, and now they're saying that they're looking at Priyanka Chopra to be Rita Repulsa, which I think will be a good part. I mean, good role. I just hope you're gonna make her a witch or whatever, that y'all also got her doing some fight sequences and stuff in there. Because one thing that we know about Priyanka is she definitely can do action. I forgot. Wasn't there a movie that she just did recently, like an action film where she played like an agent or whatever, like a secret agent or a spy, whatever the case was. She was doing fight sequences in there. I can't remember what it was, but I think it was on Prime. Yeah, it was. Wait, wasn't it the movie where John Cena was the president? I think that was the movie. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the damn movie. I mean the details regarding it. I think he was the president. Also, Idris Elba was the president of, or the prime minister of, Britain, and she was a spy or whatever the case, and they was killing all of them off. So yeah, she was in that. Then she has this new movie coming out, and I forgot the name of it, but they dropped the trailer today, where she's playing like some girl who's in hiding because of her family, and then Carl Urban, I think, is like a pirate, and they looking for her, and the trailer was gory. She was fucking everybody up in there. I was like, and that's going straight to Prime Video. I think it's coming out in February. I definitely want to check that out. That looks really good. So we know she could do action, and I kind of like her when she's doing stuff like that. So according to Comic Book Movie, they're saying with Percy Jackson and Olympian season 2 now streaming on Disney Plus and season 3 reportedly nearing the end of production, are things starting to heat up on the streamer's upcoming Power Rangers reboot. The series is being developed by Percy Jackson showrunners Jonathan E. Steinberg and Dan Schatz, and the prevailing assumption is that once season 3 is officially wrapped, the duo will move straight to pre-production on Power Rangers. If you subscribe to the notion that there's smoke, where there's smoke, there's fire, the growing wave of rumors surrounding the product's potential cast and story direction suggests the reboot might be gearing up behind the scenes. Just recently, fresh intel from Dis Insider, or I guess they would call it Diz Insider because it's Disney's page or whatever, has emerged, confirming an early rumor that Sean Dixon, who starred in Vampirina, Teenage Vampire, Paris Bravo from Bad Therapy, Judd Goodstein from okay, all these names that y'all mentioned, I don't know who any of these kids are. So they have a bunch of kids that they're saying that they are being considered or have already tested. Until we hear whatever, then I'll bring it up on the show with pictures and everything. But I'm like, I don't know who any of these damn kids are or any of these shows that they mentioned them on. There was one they said his name is Mamama Tamada from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Is that the Netflix one? The live action one? I might have to look up who that is. But anyway, they said, more interestingly, the report claims the actress Peyton Elizabeth Lee from Andy Mac Doogie Kamala. I guess they were trying to do a Hawaiian version of Doogie Howser. But it's a Hawaiian name. I don't want to mess that name up. It's all but guaranteed to join the series with Mason Thames. Well, we already know who Mason Thames is. First of all, let me say this. It's more old enough because I looked at him and I'm like, that boy got cute. I mean, he was a little old thing when he was in the show, but then when you see how he got so big so quick, I'm like, well, damn, how old are you? That growth spurt. But anyway, so Mason Thames, they're talking about, might be in the show as a main lead. On top of that, the site notes that Disney is actively courting Priyanka Chopra, who is from Quantico, and it was called Heads of State. I don't know why I couldn't think of the name of that damn movie, for the franchise figure signature villain Rita Repulsa. With question at the Percy Jackson season 2 premiere back in December about their attachment to Power Rangers, Schatz told a reporter, "You are asking questions that I can't answer. Let's just say we very much hope to bring that story to life. So that's all I can say at this point." Steinberg was then questioned as to whether their reboot will start off with the classic Power Rangers lineup of Jason, Zach, Kimberly, Trini, and Billy. But the showrunner sidestepped the specifics of that inquiry, simply answering, "The rumor is true. I cannot tell you about the initial character lineup, but I'm very, very excited for that story." Well, look, if they decide to come in and bring in new kids that have those same names, Jason, Zach, Kimberly, Trini, and Billy, that'll be interesting if y'all decide to go there. I mean, y'all don't own the name. I mean, them actors who play those parts don't own the names. If you want to still use it, then go ahead. But I'd definitely be here for this. I just hope the show doesn't suck. Here's the thing. Y'all know I love the show because I told y'all about that in the beginning of the topic. Then also, one of the things I will say is that I thoroughly enjoyed the movie that they tried to do. I know, remember they tried to do the Ivan Ooze and all that stuff, which shout out to one of the girls from Drag Race who was dressed up as Ivan Ooze at the premiere. But Also, I liked, even though it flopped at the box office, I did like the movie that they did with Becky G and Dacre Montgomery and all of them, where they decided to try to reboot the franchise. When did that come out? Like 2014, 2015? I liked the movie. I thought it was thoroughly entertaining. It flopped at the box office, but I thoroughly enjoyed what they did with that. And I would have really loved for them to explore it, but like I said, it didn't make no money, so they wasn't going to take that risk. So if y'all wanted to go and if y'all found a way to make Power Rangers thoroughly entertaining, and introduce a new group of fans to the franchise, and you can find a really cool cast, and you come up with some cool fight sequences, and Disney's willing to put a whole lot of money behind it, then I'm here for it. I just hope it doesn't suck, because y'all can do a whole lot with Power Rangers. They're just reviving every damn thing from my childhood at this damn point. So yeah, so then it goes into this thing about a timeline of when so many other people owned the rights to Power Rangers, but I don't think y'all care about that. But so I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding these rumors circulating that Priyanka Chopra Jonas could be our new Rita Repulsa in the upcoming Power Rangers reboot that Disney Plus is going to be behind? I've kind of been having a love-hate relationship with a lot of the shows over there at Disney Plus, so I hope it doesn't suck. Percy Jackson is actually not bad. Andor was a bad. Majority of the Star Wars stuff has been trash. And I haven't liked a lot of the MCU TV shows that they've had over there. But I'm just hoping that Disney Plus can find a way to really revive the channel and come up with some quality product and not be doing these little 30-minute, 6-episode shows that just be feeling like a bunch of fluff and just wasting people's time, and then y'all want to rush to get to all the good stuff once we get to the final episode. So hopefully y'all figuring out how to do things over there, and please don't mess up this show, because like I said, Power Rangers is my childhood. Do not mess up. Don't make it bad for me in this situation, even though I know technically this show is not for me because I'm not the demographic anymore. I'm way older. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. He said, I have the complete series in my. Who knew? I was like, Robert got the whole franchise. I said, but it will work because it was spliced with Japanese footage. But Hasbro definitely canceled the Kids Power Rangers thing for being too perfect, as it didn't use Japanese footage. And the kids actually were doing the fight scenes themselves. Hasbro said, no, sir, we're pulling the license because it's too protect, or it's too perfect, or what. Well, look, I'm sure they're probably not going to be splicing in Japanese footage. And you had the kids in post doing all the, like, you had them doing all the voiceover stuff. But it was like, we're not going to have them do the fight stuff before it was not going to air because of Sydney Sweeney or Trisha Paytas. Yeah, I thought that's what he was saying. That that's what I said. I didn't believe when I was hearing that. It said Cenk Uygur went after I've had a podcast. Please, who cares about his old fat fucking ass? I can't stand Cenk. For their revealing how he and Anna are they're not independent media because their sponsorship had them saying live from the Poly Market. Don't even get me started on Poly Market, because Poly Market just came out with a whole thing. Shout out to Kyle Kalinske for revealing this, where they was up in here condoning the fact of people getting killed by these ICE agents. So, and the man looked like he was on all kinds of drugs, the one that runs it. So from the looks of it, Maddie works as head of an escorting agency with Jules, Rosalia's character, and possibly Cassie's sister, Lexi being working girls, thus making half the cast ex-workers. So this is about the day and age of, yeah, regular jobs ain't cutting it, so everybody's out here selling themselves for a coin. I mean, in a way, it is kind of reflecting real life. Hassan's $350 million of his $1 billion estate after Hassan court case. So how is the Young Turks independent media? Lord Zed was my childhood. Lord Zed. Power Rangers reference. All right, now let's go for the Power Rangers to God of War. So it was revealed about a couple hours ago, maybe like an hour or two ago, that they're, well, for a while, I will say this. They've been talking about developing a God of War series. I had no idea off the top of my head who I thought could be a good Kratos character. I was actually thinking, I was like, Jason Momoa will be good, or oh my God, Dave Bautista. But Dave Bautista was like, nah, he lost a lot of weight. I don't know if they would have had to pay him a shit ton of money. But the actor that they got to play the part, I'm like, okay, I see it, and I'm here for it. So apparently, it's this actor by the name of Ryan Hurst. He has appeared on shows such as, and a lot of shows that I like, well, back before the show went to shit. He was on The Walking Dead. He also did a show called The Abandons, which I'm not familiar with, but he also did Sons of Anarchy. Now, I love me some Sons of Anarchy. The spinoff Mayans, I didn't particularly care for, although I did like the guy that played the lead, because I've always kind of liked him. But JD Pardo, I've always had a crush on him. But also, I've always liked him and stuff. But besides that, I didn't think the show was as good as Sons of Anarchy, and I feel like it was it was kind of sort of a spinoff. So this is who is going to be playing the part. Now, according to Deadline, they said that he's been cast as Kratos in Prime Video's God of War series for Sony Pictures Television and Amazon MGM Studios. Based on PlayStation's ancient mythology-themed video game, the series received a 2-season order with pre-production underway in Vancouver, and casting has begun. From writer, showrunner, and executive producer Ronald D. Moore, who is behind shows such as Outlander and For All Mankind, God of War follows father and son Kratos and Atreus as they embark on a journey to spread the ashes of their wife and mother, Faye. Throughout their adventures, Kratos tries to teach his son to be a better god, while Atreus tries to teach his father how to be a better human. Now, Kratos, the titular character of the entire franchise, is Spartan by birth and a god by nature, raised in a martial culture. He rose to command armies in the service of his homeland until one day he made a fateful deal with Ares, the Greek god of war, and lost his soul in exchange for being victorious in battle. Over the course of 10 successful games, Kratos vanquished mortals, creatures, and gods alike. In the process, he became an iconic character in pop culture, known for his stoic nature, unchallenged combat skills, and tragic past. Now, in the live-action series, Kratos' story will closely follow the path of the last two games, as he deals with something new. His 10-year-old son Atreus, his father-son, the father-son dynamic began a whole new chapter in the legendary series and will be a heartbeat of the new show. So they also say Hurst's participation in the new series heralds his return to the God of War universe, having previously played Thor in PlayStation's God of War Ragnarok. He was nominated for a BAFTA award for his performance. Now, God of War is co-produced by Sony Pictures TV and Amazon, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So this was like a pretty interesting idea. So far, it's looking like it's shaping up to be a good show. Now, if they said HBO was behind it, I'd be more excited because HBO was HBO, and HBO has had more hits than misses. In regards of Amazon, MGM, they're not so bad. One of the shows that I will say that they did come out with was that's based on a video game is Fallout. Fallout's an actually pretty good show. And also we have speaking of HBO, we have oh my god, what's the name of that damn show? The Last of Us. Like the first season, some parts of the second season. Second season was overall more or less a disappointment for me. Hopefully they bring it back on the third season. But for the most part, I was kind of disappointed with season 2. But so far, so good. We've had things that are based off video games that they found a way to make them entertaining and interesting and stuff. And I'm hoping that they don't fuck this up. So I'm looking forward to it. But they also said that he's best known for playing the beloved character Opie Winston on FX's hit motorcycle drama Sons of Anarchy. And in a reunion with Kurt Sutter, who created the show, he was a series lead in the recently released Netflix series The Abandons as Miles Alderton. Additional notable credits include AMC's The Walking Dead, CBS's SWAT, Disney Plus's The Mysterious Benedict Society, Prime Video's Bosch, and A&E's Bates Motel. He next will be seen in Christopher Nolan's, he's in the Odyssey? Okay, that's a big one. So, this guy's career is definitely taking off. This sounds like a really interesting choice that they did. It looks like pretty good casting. Now, I'm wondering, does that mean he's got to shave his head, or they're going to just do a thing where they're going to make sure that Kratos gets to have long hair or whatever? I know some people, he's got to be bald or whatever, because, everybody wants, exact representation when it comes to characters that they see. So I don't know if he's willing to shave his head, but if he is, because the beard is bearding. Like, the beard definitely matches or whatever. They're just thinking, or, they'll hook it up a little bit, make him look, presentable. But I don't know if he's willing to shave his head. We'll see. I mean, it doesn't look like he has a badly shaved head if it was to get cut. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with this show because this sounds like pretty good casting. It'll be interesting to see what actor they pick whether he's known or unknown to play Atreus. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story so far? We finally have our Kratos for Prime Video's God of War series. I'm looking forward to hearing more of the casting of who they're gonna spin out on this franchise or who they're gonna put in the show and all that good stuff. So for all you gamers who care. So I definitely want to hear from you all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's move on to our next topic and let's get into the latest. Oh, excuse me. On this Netflix thing. So you already know we went in the other day and talked about it. I don't want to reiterate with the whole Netflix Warner Brothers situation because Paramount is throwing a temper tantrum. They're talking about suing because they want to see the records or whatever. It's like, sir, when you gonna let us see your stuff? Because I'm sure there's a lot of shenanigans and things y'all got going on behind the scenes. So be careful what you start to put out there when it comes to Pandora's box, because I'm sure there's things regarding Paramount that y'all don't want revealed. So be careful with all of that. So now, with all that being said, Netflix's latest checkmate move is they're like, we want to do an all cash deal. So they want to play these little games. Okay, we want to present y'all with an all cash situation. And to me personally, I ain't gonna hold you. I actually think this is a good idea on their part, and I actually hope that Warner Brothers Discovery follows through with it. So the ongoing saga between Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery has taken another turn, with the Wall Street Journal reporting that the streaming giant is prepping an all-cash offer for the media conglomerate. The move is reportedly designed to fend off Paramount Skydance's hostile bid, while also accelerating the timeline toward closing a potential acquisition. That's why I said, them dingbats over there who don't know shit about business is playing checkers, and Netflix is over here playing chess. So the shift would come as Paramount continues to tout the hostile $30 a share all cash offer to Warner Brothers Discovery as superior to the deal with David Zaslav-led company inked with the giant streamer. Netflix is offering $27.75 $27.75 in case people thinking I'm doing 2,000 or whatever. For the Warner Brothers business alone, or $23.25 in cash and $4.50 in Netflix shares. Paramount has argued repeatedly that cash is king, show is, and is asking WBD shareholders to tender their shares by a January 21st deadline. The WBD board has twice advised shareholders not to do so and stood by its Netflix agreement. Paramount on Monday sued the WBD board in Delaware Chancery Court to release all documentation detailing the decision-making process and math behind its choice of Netflix over Paramount. It also plans a proxy fight, saying it will put up its own slate of directors for election of the WBD board in an attempt to derail the Netflix deal and pursue its own from the inside. What WBD called the lawsuit meritless, which it is. It has characterized the Paramount merger as riskier, and Warner Brothers and its shareholders, which Paramount denies. Warner Brothers board has some of its shareholders also seem surprised that Paramount has not raised its offer above the $30 a share. Because y'all talking about y'all got the money, you got the coins, right? So why you not gonna raise it? And now how you gonna sit up here and tell somebody this is the better deal? Take our deal. I don't trust y'all as far as I can throw you, because it's like, yeah, then all of a sudden y'all renege and then I'm left holding the bag and then we screwed. It's like, nah, I don't trust y'all. And especially the way y'all running stuff over there. Like they just had that moron over there that's running CBS News just did an interview with the fat fucking chief who literally, I just saw a video with him dozing off while he's surrounded by kids and scared the hell out of this little girl because he was like gasping for air, got the sleep apnea going and everything. And scared the shit out of the little girl that was standing next to him and looked at the lady, and the lady they all know he's an idiot. But y'all just go along to get along because it's y'all trying to get what y'all can out of the man while he's sort of coherent. Like you just pet him there. You so good. You so nice. You was kind. You was smart. You was important. You do all that to him and he just opens up the red carpet for you. You know, it's easy to flatter a whore. Trust and believe. He would know and his wife. So when it comes down to all of this, I say this is the better deal. in regards of Netflix and Warner Bros. Hopefully they do a cash situation, because this whole thing with Paramount is stupid. It's a waste of our time. And then after all this bullying and these lawsuits you want to do, why would I want to do business with you? Why would I even consider wanting to sell to you? You thinking you're going to bully me into a sale? And you think this is the way to go about it? When you can't even figure out what the hell y'all doing with CBS. And I just saw a report today. The numbers are down for the first time in ages for CBS News. That's why I said, y'all want to sit up in here and take over all this stuff and try to mold networks into one situation where y'all trying to buy up all of our media because y'all want to control the narrative. People are seeing through it. They see what y'all doing over there. And especially with everything going on with ICE invading people's homes and pulling people out and doing all kinds of crazy shit, breaking all of the laws, when people are literally turning against ICE and law enforcement, it's about to be a civil war in America. I just smell it coming. So with all this other stuff going on, why would I actually want to work with you? And especially y'all trying to buy up and monopolize all of these studios so that way you can control the narrative. And people are seeing through it. And now CBS is suffering. And y'all thinking y'all doing a favor. I keep telling y'all, a lot of what's going on, it's a small minority of y'all. But yes, your voices are loud. We see you. We hear you. We don't want to hear what the fuck you got to say, because a lot of the shit you say is stupid any damn way. But you got all these big mouths and all this other stuff, and yes, you're shaking your pom-poms and ringing your bells and you're shouting for the rooftops, but you ain't controlling the people. The numbers are going down and it's showing. And if Glasses over there, Burry Weiss, and I call her Burry intentionally, think that what she's doing by licking the crack of this administration's ass and giving them what they want is helping matters, when y'all start to realize y'all losing money over there, then what? So I think this is the better deal that they need to do. Do an all-cash situation. Hopefully it goes through and leave Paramount pitching a bitch. Sorry, I had to side eye Issa Rae because I just saw this story that came out today with her, that she just signed a deal to work and do stuff with Paramount. I know you glad that you can probably get out here and get work and stuff going, but the way that Paramount is running things and the way these people are doing what they're doing over there, it's like, well, what kind of situation they're gonna have you spewing out here with any future shows or movies or whatever you plan on doing a deal with these people of all people? So while I like Issa Rae and I love Insecure and all the other stuff, I'm side-eyeing her a little bit for doing a deal with them. But nevertheless, I ask all of you, what do you guys think of this story? I say I think it's a great idea. I don't have too much. I just going by based off the information and stuff that we have. I don't know all the ins and outs and the nuances, but I just feel like the casting to shut them the hell up over there is the better deal, especially if you're not willing to raise the offer and you really trying to strong arm me to tell me this is the better idea for us to go with this $30 share thing. It's not. If you can't raise the money, but all of a sudden you talking about you got it, then show up with the coins. Show me the money, in the words of Tom Cruise in Jerry Maguire. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Javier Bardem said he and Melissa are blacklisted for life. Mehdi Hassan said, not Susan Sarandon. Javier said she's too big and iconic to cancel. Funny thing is, if Javier Bardem is canceled, I don't think he feels anyways tired about it. Number one, he's a Spanish actor, so he can go overseas and make money. He can have a career in Spain or whatever. So if Hollywood wants to play this little game, he'll speak. Paul Down said Lady Gaga's intimate Wilton Apple Music show is nothing but a recording for the Recording Academy, because that one-off show means she's walking empty-handed. Let's change it to do a free show to make Gaga walk away with lots of Grammys. So are you trying to say that that she's trying to do all this so that way she could position herself to win a Grammy? Because I did hear this story that she is doing an Apple Music show, but I wonder, does this mean that if she's doing that they're gonna show the Mayhem Ball on Apple TV and y'all can go over there and watch it? Because I already know she's coming back to the Garden. And I don't know if y'all heard also, but this was the talk yesterday when I was at work. There's a story that's going around. I don't know if the trades have started spilling it yet, but there's word on the curb is that Harry Styles is going to be doing a residency at the Garden, 15 shows sometime in the fall. So that is a story that's going around. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but this was the conversation that a lot of us that work in guest services was talking about yesterday. Just so y'all know. And if it does happen, you heard it here first. So yes, she was telling a lot. Oh, I did like that. CBS, SEEBS. See the bullshit. Not what you meant. Tomato. I said, like he said, Gaga ain't shit. But a stunt queen. Mayhem is a decent album, but her one album of the year was The Fame Monster. Look, I've said this till I'm blue in the face. I don't think Mayhem was a good record. Yes, it was a return to form. Yes, there was a couple of songs on there that were bops, but for the most part, the album was not a cohesive body of work. It's not up there with all these other nominations, in my opinion. So I don't even see her in the conversation of winning album of the year. Just like I didn't see it for Ariana Grande to be in the major categories of actually walking away with an Oscar, let alone a Golden Globe, let alone an Actors Award because it's not SAG anymore, or Critics' Choice or any of the other awards. So Mayhem, in my opinion, is not up there in regard to. Now, if you want to talk about best tour, Mayhem Ball is a great show. She gives everything in that show. The production, the costumes, the way the stage lights up and the screen, like the whole setup. It's a really good show. So I'm not going to take that away from her. I feel like the show sells the album more than the album itself does what it needs to do to sell the record. So there's that. But I know a lot of y'all are crying over the fact that them tickets is crazy expensive, because in the 200 section, I saw tickets at $700. And that's not even determining whether or not those are obstructed view sections, because there are obstructed, and that's what people need to learn too. Y'all need to be aware that when you buy tickets, if the sections are obstructed, if you want the sides, don't get sides, please. If you can get center, and I was telling people this too, if you get the center, you can see everything. Like you catch everything on the sides and the smoke coming down and the screen, like the LED screen that's in the catwalk and all that. Like everything is the show is so intricate. The only way you'd be able to catch everything, you have to have a center seat. And if you do have a center seat, get it in the 100s or the 200s. Don't get on the floor, because you really ain't gonna catch everything. Everybody thinks, oh, they're eating, or it's a great thing when they get floor seats. Trust and believe, I work the floor. You don't really get a lot of shows. You don't get a lot of the view or whatever. And you know how many times I've had to tell people get their fucking feet off the damn chair because they want to stand up? Because they want to stand. I can't see. What you want me to do? Ain't nobody tell you get floor. See, y'all be thinking y'all flexing because I spent like $400, well, not 400, $1,000. No shade. There's one section in the floor that's $3,000 a seat. And ain't nobody tell y'all to spend $3,000. A lot of y'all just want to come in and brag and say that y'all spent that money. Okay. But is it my problem that your section is obstructed? You really can't see because you're sitting in a seat where people are taller, or you can't really get a thing of like trying to capture everything? That's why I always tell people, get 100s or 200s, but if you do, get a center. Don't go. I mean, floor will be great, but the experience is not as great as y'all think it is, because you can't really catch everything. So just somebody who works in live entertainment trying to tell y'all. Okay, you said she never. Well, that's shady. It's like, I still can't. The Swift, I'll just put. Yes, he is. And they're going to talk about I said what I said. And you know what I say. And what you said was some bullshit. Trying to not listen to no mediocre ass cracker about trying to talk to us about some goddamn who's more popular or who's better than who. I'm not listening to no mediocre ass person tell me about pop damn culture. Fuck out of here. Especially when you ain't never been in the trenches with these people. I said, I went to the Lifetime store. I was there too, not on the floor, but I worked the Lifetime store. We said on the floor, no seats, and my back felt like I needed to have. See, you had no seats. I'm trying to remember. Oh wait, you're right. There was no floors. There was no seats on the floor. It was like a big 8, right? It was like it was like one big 8. There was no seats on the floor. You had to stand the whole damn time. Same thing with, you know who also had no seats on the floor? There was a Whitefield. Benson Boone had no seats on the floor. Billie Eilish had no seats on the floor. when I worked Fade's show, he had no seats on the floor because the whole floor was a stage. Like the way they designed it was so big. And who else had no seats on the floor? Damn, I had the other person too, but I went in that little tangent. Never mind. But did I say Billie Eilish? Yeah, she didn't have no floor seats either. I mean, so Tyler the Creator had no seats on the floor either. That was a good show too. So yeah, there was no floor seats with that. So it's just like, it's funny why they don't tell you. Yeah, if they tell y'all general admission, if you see GA or general admission, that means ain't no damn seats. So be on the lookout for that. I'm telling y'all all the secrets. 3K, ain't no man, woman, or beast alive. That's what I said. Anyway, hell, that's why a lot of us, we be like, we rather work the event than pay for it because it's ridiculous the prices that you have that goes into these shows. And that's true. It's like I'd rather make money working the shows than having to spend $3,000 for a floor seat. And that's not even in the front. He said, I wouldn't, hello, not me either. Well, first of all, I don't think I would be paying when Madonna, because you know she coming to the garden. I wouldn't even be paying to see Madonna do that when she brings the new tour for whatever the name of his next album is. It's supposed to be coming. I'm not even going to be I wouldn't even be paying that money for this tour. I'll be working it. But then again, one of the things about my job, they do hook us up. They waive all the extra fees and stuff. I would have to go down to the box office to buy my ticket. They waive all the extra fees and stuff. Like I will pay for that, but I'm just like, why would I want to put money into the thing and just instead of just doing my own thing? I've heard people discussing whether music by Madonna is alternative pop or even proto hyper pop, and I want to hear your take on whether you think it's anything genre defining. Damn, I got to think about music. Music was a mashup of all kinds of sounds. Hyperpop, I've always said, is sort of like what we used to call electro clash back in the day. Because, and I don't know, I started going down this electro clash rabbit hole because I started noticing that sound and starting to make a comeback. Like people started discovering groups like Chicks on Speed and Felix the House Cat and Miss Kitten and the Hacker, even also who's the other one? Fisher Spooner, which I know they spent a whole lot of money behind Fisher Spooner, but quiet as it's kept, their music really wasn't that great. And of course, with Lady Tron coming out with their 8th record, and so with all the other sound, I don't know. I just feel like music had an amalgamation of different sounds. I don't know if it would be considered alternative pop. It felt a little too. First of all, it felt a little too mainstream to be considered alternative pop. And plus, with me thinking, like, when I hear music had like folk music. Well, I guess people would consider it folktronica. That was kind of the phrasing around that album, what they called it back in the day. They called it folktronica. And shout out to you for sending me that Britney Spears video with her as Flash. I posted that on my other social medias because I was like, oh my God, now I'm feeling nostalgic. I used to love this club. Because remember, we talked about it on the show. We talked about on the show that I used to live up in Splash every week when I would, it would be Wednesdays and Fridays. Wednesdays because they had Urban Night, which I used to get mad because, when it was Urban Night, and all the Spanish boys and everything was coming up in there, and them fine ass go-go dancers, and my friend Big Kim had her party and stuff up in there. They would immediately, in Harmonica Sunbeam sometimes, they would immediately switch to plastic cups from the glass. And I'm like, so y'all thinking because the Muggles is coming up in here that we don't know how to hold a glass and not drop it on the floor and break it? White people break the shit all the time and y'all don't get mad. But it's funny how even back then I recognized the slight racism with that. And that was the only club that I remember hearing a story about how they refused to let Janet Jackson in because she wasn't wearing the right shoes, which was shady, but I lived for it. And then in the lower level, they had showers. So that was like the crazy place. That's why I always said, like, when I talk about Splash, it reminded me so much of like Babylon on Queer as Folk because it was very much like that. So yeah, you said and Electric Clash was late 2000s. Music was early 2000s. Was Electric Clash late 2000s? Because I could have sworn it was like late 90s and 2000s. is I would say it's alternative because when Peaches came out like 2000, 2001. And you said, yeah. And speaking of which, Peaches got a new album coming out this year, next month, I think. I like the new video. It's a little weird, but I like the new video with all the fornication going on. He said music was early 2000. I would say it's alternative adjacent pop because of how weird it is, but Madonna is definitely not. No, she's not an alternative artist. That's why I was thinking that's why it was like hard for me to even categorize. I'm like, she's not alternative. That's why I was watching like a video of someone talking about with the one I sent in our other group chat that I have. I'm in so many damn group chats about these regular guys that were commenting on Madonna's Frozen, and they didn't know who directed the video and stuff, and they were just talking about a whole bunch of other things like, yeah, we don't do our videos like everybody else does theirs and whatever. And they were trying to sit and figure out how to categorize that album, whatever. And they were saying like, what was she inspired by and stuff. And they mentioned Portishead, and I'm like, yeah, a lot of Ray of Light was inspired by the sound of like trip hop and drum and bass and that sort of sound that was coming out of the UK, where you had Bjork and Tricky and Massive Attack, and there was also, who else? Morcheeba. Those were a lot of the bands I was listening to at the time. Yeah, I was very much about, and growing up at that time, that was all I was listening to, a lot of UK based bands and Goldfrapp and all that other stuff. And then they had mentioned not even somebody, it was Caswell. Shout out to him. He posted this video on his page and it was like, oh my God, that makes sense. He basically said that Bedtime Story, not Bedtime Stories, because Stories is the album. He called it Bedtime Stories though, but I'm correcting it here. Bedtime Story, singular, the single. He said that somebody has said to him that Bedtime Story was the embryo for Ray of Light. And I'm like, bitch, you are correct. Because when you think about it, it's like, that was the song from that album that explored that genre, that sound, the electronic music and stuff. And then 4 years later, we get Ray of Light. So I'm like, I definitely see that. But word on the street is that Madonna supposed to be surprise dropping her new single tomorrow. We'll see if that happens. That's the rumor that's floating around. And that's what I said. Britney was there. So many artists have performed at that place. Britney, Janet, so many big icons. I think Madonna, if I'm not mistaken, performed there. I think Gwen Stefani's performed there. There's been a lot of people. But Madonna used to do all the gay clubs in New York. I remember when she did the Roxy. And I'm trying to, where was she when she did the bedtime? First, I was way too young to even get up in there, so I wasn't even going to try. When she did the Bedtime Stories era, I think that was that Roseland? Hammerstein? Webster Hall. It was Webster Hall. I had to think. We had so many clubs at the time. Webster Hall is still around, actually. But anyway, enough of my Madonna nostalgia. Well, first of all, I would never not be nostalgic about Madonna, as we like to call her on the show. But it was good we had that moment, because now we got to get into some mess. Because apparently, Kim Cattrall is not the only one over at Sex and the City that got beef with Sarah Jessica Parker. Apparently, Chris Noth got beef with her too. So, there was a story that came out from Page Six, and also got a story from Rob Shooter that was spilling even more tea about this. So we'll get into that in a second. But let me get through this story from Page Six. So, and just like that, Chris Noth reignited SJP feud rumors. The Sex and the City alum took to Instagram on Friday and shared a snap of himself working out in the gym with the caption, F New Year's, let's go. One fan in the comments section directly responded to his expletive-filled caption, asking the actor, you mean FSJP and her award, right? LOL. Now, why you go and start mess? Because here's the thing, in case people didn't know, SJP recently won a Golden Globe, some award at the Golden Globes, whatever the case was. Okay, big whoop. First of all, the Golden Globes is a goddamn joke to begin with, and the ratings just showed it this past weekend. So, they just be giving out awards to any goddamn body, and they feel like that they're the movers and shakers of the industry, but whatever helps y'all sleep at night. So he went and responded and said, right. I'm like, well, goddamn, what she do? So, she won the Carol Burnett Award on January 7th, and this was They said 3 nights before the main ceremony at the Beverly Hilton Hotel on Sunday, Noth, who is 71, damn, he that old, and Parker, who's 60, shared a long history, as y'all know, working together where he played big on Sex and the City, on the show, in the movies, and that sort of thing. And remember, he was even on And Just Like That, but he only made it to the pilot because they ended up killing him off. He was on a Peloton bike and died. Well, I shouldn't laugh, but that was just the way they killed him off. It was like he was riding a Peloton bike, and all of a sudden he kills over and was a heart attack. And that's how they pretty much just dealt with his character, whatever the case was. So I'm sitting there wondering, I'm like, well, why does he all of a sudden have beef with SJP? Like, what's she do to you? Like, you've been for years quiet about this whole situation. The only thing we knew about what was going on with Sex and the City was the fact that SJP was beefing with Kim Cattrall. And Kim Cattrall, I guess, what this may have stemmed from, she had did an interview with Piers Morgan back in the day, which alluded to the idea that they didn't get along, because I didn't know. She went off and made a comment about, I guess they were trying to wrangle all the girls to come back and do the show. And she was like, thanks, but no thanks. I've already moved on to bigger and better. Well, not bigger and better things. I'm saying that. But she was just ready to move on and do other stuff. It's like, I don't want to come back and play Samantha Jones. I played her enough damn times. And plus, there was a story that went around that Kim was trying to gain, when they were going to do the third movie, that she was going to try to get more money, like a bigger salary for herself, whatever the case was. And word on the street, allegedly, that SJP tried to sabotage her deal. So she had a problem with that. And basically was like, when she said thanks but no thanks, she also reiterated that SJP, she said she could have been a little nicer in regards of her response. So I guess she didn't like the fact that all the girls couldn't come back. So maybe she strong-armed Cynthia Nixon and she strong-armed Charlotte, Kristen Davis, I always forget her damn name. So strong-armed them to come back. They all trying to act like they're all one big happy family. And Kim has always been upfront and was like, no, we colleagues. We not besties. Because, a lot of times you on these sets, everybody try to act like they best friends. Everybody ain't Sunny Hostin. Not everybody walks around with 80 goddamn besties. Because first of all, if y'all got that many damn friends, I don't trust you to begin with. I be feeling like you needy and you up to some shit. Because you don't collect friends like they tchotchkes. And that's what she gives me and Taylor Swift. So when it comes to all these lists of friends, then when you do them wrong, they act like they don't know you, like Mariah Carey don't know Jennifer. So then I had to remember this, because remember once upon a time, it seemed like Chris Noth has been kind of blacklisted from Hollywood, because back in 2004 and in 2015, he was accused of preying upon two starstruck young women. Basically, they said that he lured them to private areas where they said he forced himself on them. Now, in a statement to Page 6 at the time, he denied both allegations, calling them categorically false. The encounters were consensual. It's difficult not to question the timing of these stories coming out. I don't know for certain why they are surfacing now, but I do know this. I did not assault these women. Now, I guess from all of that, because the girls from the show basically did put out a statement. Let me see if I actually have the old statement. Oh, yeah. So they said, we are deeply saddened to hear the allegations against Chris Noth. Read the statement posted to Instagram and signed by Cynthia Nixon, SJP, and Kristen Davis. We support the women who have come forward and shared painful experiences. It continues, we know it must be a very difficult thing to do, and we commend them for it. Now, so they were team assault victims. And I guess he felt the way, because it's like, wait a minute, we work together. We've been kind of very close in regards to the acting thing. And immediately you take these women's sides. So it's kind of like you throwing me to the wolves. And then maybe to finagle their way out of that situation, for them to handle this whole situation regarding, well, how do we kind of get rid of Big because of these allegations? We don't want this to plague the show. I mean, the quiet as it's kept, the show's already been plagued with problems. The show just wasn't good and didn't need to come back. I understand, for nostalgia's sake, we was all here for, let's see where the girls are in this day and age, in their 50s, whatever the case was. The show just it wasn't good. So with all that being said, I guess they felt like, let's just wrap up this big character and by killing him off. And maybe he felt the way. I was like, oh, well, damn, like, this is how you going to do me, which is probably why he responded the way he responded. So no shade, Chris, but I need a little more tea regarding this. Like, I mean, now you reignited this can of worms. You probably felt like she left you out in the cold. and that was just your response because you feeling like, oh, well, she took the people's side or whatever the case is. And I would like for you to spill more tea regarding this, because now that person came up in your comments and started some mess and poked the bear, and you took the bait. So now we invested. And speaking of investments, Rob Shooter's just about invested as I am. Shout out to Rob, because I like a lot of stuff. I subscribe to his Substack, so a lot of times when the juicy stuff be coming out, I'm like, let me bring it up on the show. So he's reporting on his Substack. It says SJP nervous, she'll be exposed as the next mean Ellen. Sidebar, I remember when I was at when I worked for Shake Shack during the first season of And Just Like That, they filmed I think it was a finale, actually. I didn't even know it was a finale until that whole thing came along. Because the location I worked at was at Washington Square Park, which is on 14th Street and on the closer to the Broadway or whatever. So they had filmed the whole day up in there. We ended up feeding that entire damn cast and crew. And no shade, my GM, a GM at the time. Now I believe she's the GM of the same location. She said, that don't even look like her. She said she looks so off. I mean, she did. SJP ain't aging all that well, but it is what it is. She's trying to be natural with the looks. So, and I'll tell you, it be the women that be going in on each other, not us men. So y'all be talking about us body shaming. But anyway, so she was all quiet and off in the corner, whatever, and had the people order her food or whatever. She would tell them what she wanted, and she went to the window and put in her order, whatever the case was, or the people that she was telling it to, because she wasn't really addressing nobody. And that's where the little snide comment from my GM came from. But yeah, I remember when I worked that day and they were filming out there and we had to feed the whole crew or whatever. And I don't even think that scene even made the final cut, which was bizarre. But I mean, that y'all filmed all of that stuff in the park and it didn't even make the final cut. I remember they shot outside it too. They did a sequence outside it. That made the cut with her and I believe Miranda were walking down the street on the side. And you see the park on the side. But anyway, let's get into the story that Rob Shooter had to say. So he said, Sarah Jessica Parker may dazzle on the red carpet, but behind the cameras of Sex and the City, sources say she's on edge. She's terrified, a former crew member tells me. She knows that dam is about to break. Everyone has stories, and once they come out, there's no stopping it. Now, for decades, Parker's success kept lips sealed. The show built fortunes and careers from co-stars to makeup artists, and many stayed silent to protect their futures. Isn't that always the case when you work behind the scenes? Because all them people that work behind the scenes, I always tell y'all, makeup artists, all the people that work behind the scenes stuff, they know where all the bodies is buried. Those quiet as it's kept. Ever since I went on the set of New York Undercover and I met all the people that work behind the scenes, that's how I knew where to get the information from. Because once upon a time, my high school teacher, Copper Cunningham, who was in Taxi Driver, by the way, I always have to say that, and she's done a lot of acting and stuff. She was a paparazzo back in the day. And those were the secrets. Maybe that's why I've kind of finagled my career into this. Because it's much more interesting pulling the curtain back and getting the personal information and finding out all the dirty secrets is way more entertaining than being in Hollywood and putting on this pomp and circumstance and being a show pony. So they said that people didn't want to rock the boat, a former assistant says. We were grateful for jobs, but the thing I saw, awful. She yelled at wardrobe for shrinking a scarf in the dryer in front of the whole crew. Humiliation was her tool. Now, Chris Noth's recent expletive-filled Instagram post fanned the flames. After posting a gym photo with F New Year's Let's Go, a fan asked if he meant FSJP in her award. And we already went through that situation. So now it goes on to say, it's no surprise, a source says. People on set have been nervous to speak for years. That post, it's a crack in the wall. Now, Chris and Kim Cattrall's public feuds were just the tip of the iceberg, insiders add, saying she made a crew member wait outside in freezing rain because she couldn't find her perfect shoe. You mean what? You couldn't find a perfect Manolo Blahnik? A former makeup artist says she screamed at people over the wrong foundation shade. People cried in hallways. Even co-stars stay silent. Nobody wanted to lose roles or paychecks, a source said. Everyone smiled, nodded, stayed quiet, but the stories exist, and they're coming. Saying she built an empire, former assistant says, but the cost was how she treated people. Once they speak, it's going to be explosive. Kim, Mr. Big, just the beginning, another insider adds. Wait till the crew, wardrobe, and assistants start talking. A tsunami of truth. She's polite in public. On set, you cry if you were in her crosshairs. SJB's scared she'll be the next mean Ellen. Excuse me, it's only a matter of time. And funny how they put that out there in regards to the whole thing with SJP. I don't even know why I'm not surprised by this information that's coming out regarding her. It's like, I could totally believe this. And it also says a whole lot that Patricia Field, Pat Field, as they would call her, who came up with all the iconic looks of all the girls on the show, right? During Sex and the City and the movies, you couldn't get her to come back for the show because she was doing Emily in Paris. But the gag is, it kind of making me look a little side at the situation that I don't know if there's necessarily the full case, because if you can get Pat Field to dress Kim Cattrall for her little scene in the car for that one episode that Kim gets on the phone, ring, Pat, can you come in and find me Samantha a look for this scene that I'm not gonna be with the mother broads over there on that show? And she agrees. It's kind of making me think like, oh, she'll come specifically for her, but SJP, who this show was supposed to be all about, you can't even get the legendary Pat Field to dress you on a show that you were most iconically known for, it being about your clothes. And they tried to emulate what Pat was doing on the show by having her wear these stupid ass shortberry shortcake sack on her head and all these other weird little outfits. But people were sitting there clowning her, more or less feeling like, oh yeah, I definitely got to go down to the store and put on what SJP's character, what Carrie Bradshaw is wearing up on his new show. Now you just looking stupid. So I'll definitely keep abreast of this story as it continues to develop. But in the meantime, what do you think of this story? Do you feel that there may be some truth to the fact that, yeah, Chris Noth called out SJP as, F her. And Kim Cattrall basically feeling how she feels about her. I don't put nothing past these celebrities 9 times out of 10. She definitely gives me mean girl tease and tries to put on this facade in front of people, but behind the scenes, she's a nightmare. So let me know what you guys think, because I will be keeping abreast of the story as it develops. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now, speaking of drama, let's talk about Timothee Chalamet, who Chelsea Handler is saying, well, basically calling out for being full of himself. And you want to know something? Well, her saying what she recently said, I'm kind of with her on this. So Chelsea Handler has not been impressed by Timothee Chalamet's press run to promote Josh Safdie's ping pong film, Marty Supreme. Now, during an appearance on the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast, Handler wholeheartedly agreed when host Amanda Hirsch asked if the actor was taking the promotion for the film too seriously. Because apparently who do you think he is, Andy Kaufman? They said he seemed pretty serious about winning and getting acknowledged for his great acting, she noted. Although Handler said she believes that Chalamet is a great actor, she lamented that his tone skewed the message, saying it's hard to hear someone talk about how great they are at acting. It's like, boy, first of all, you went to the high school performing arts, the same school as people like Khalees and your ex-girlfriend, Lola Leone, Madonna's daughter. So you like to try to act like we ain't know you was dating her back in the day before people even knew who the fuck you was. You went to the high school performing arts. So yeah, you put a lot of work and effort into becoming this big time thespian. And we're not gonna hold that against you. But yes, the way you've been acting these days about this whole situation, I'm gonna agree with Chelsea. I do feel like he's been acting like his shit don't stink. He thinks he's untouchable because of that girlfriend of his, Kylie Jenner. So, with all that smoke they blowing up his behind and him doing all this, this whole situation around Marty Supreme, it does feel a bit annoying. And I do agree, like, we didn't knock him down a peg. It's not about hating or whatever the case is, because the one thing I don't like about this industry a lot of times is that yeah, you prop people up and you hype them up and make them like they're this great thing, and rightfully so. If you're out here doing great work, and you should be acknowledged for it. But the hype machine that's behind it, and him taking himself a little too serious, act like he's the best actor on the planet. And I know, like, you have made comments in the past and you said, I want to be the best and I work at that situation. You want to be sort of like the Michael Jordan of acting or whatever the case was, whatever the hell it was that he said. I'm paraphrasing. But I'm like, okay, work towards that. But then when you try to put all this extra stuff in here, like you act like you the best actor in the world, it's like, little boy, if you don't sit your ass down, like you doing too much. And then on top of that, what's irritating me is people like Variety and all these other ones, where they'll throw shade at Michael B. Jordan and then try to trash Sinners, but y'all blowing up Marty Supreme when y'all want to move the goalposts, when y'all want to talk about some of these films and the budget and all that other stuff. So where was that energy for Marty Supreme that y'all had for Sinners when Sinners first was in the box office, and it's about, well, the budget is this. I don't know if it's going to be able to recoup the money, which they ended up doing, and y'all had egg on y'all face, but y'all didn't apologize for that mess. Then they were called out for being racist, the allegation, because they didn't put Sinners in their top films of 2025. And it's like, I'm not cutting myself to these trades on determining what a great movie is. We the ones that are the movers and shakers that go to spend our money to go see these movies. These critics get invited to go places because they kiss these studios' asses and they get to go up in there and see these films and get to give their opinion on it. So I'm not holding myself to whatever the Varieties, the Hollywood Reporters, the deadlines and the EWs and all these other people. Like, I'll take I'll reference them as sources for topics, but I don't hold myself to these companies to be like, well, they liked the movie, so I'm gonna go and say I liked it too. They could suck my. Let me not. I was about to go off. Let me reel it back in. So Variety is whatever. They can have their opinion, but I do feel like a lot of times I like to move the goalposts when it comes to your little unconscious biases. So, but they said, but in Chalamet's interviews that have been especially controversial with fans and critics alike. In one interview that divided fans on social media, Chalamet told a reporter that Marty Supreme marked his best acting role yet after he gave top of the line performances over the last 7-8 years. He added, I don't want people to take it for granted. I don't want to take it for granted. This is really some top level ish. Now, despite receiving flack for what some deemed was entitlement, well, child, quiet as is kept, a lot of people do be trying to bring up the fact that Timothee Chalamet has quite the background in regards of nepotism, and a lot of people who are not necessarily, I think maybe his family does come from a nepotism background where they know a lot of people within the industry that has helped Timothee get where he is today. We're not trying to discredit him as an actor, but he's had help getting propelled into a lot of situations based off of the people that he knows. Specifically, how he got the part in Call Me By Your Name. He knew the people that was casting all of that and stuff. So, or his parents did. Chalamet also told IndieWire that his press tour is all in keeping in line with the energy of Marty Supreme, saying this is in the spirit of Marty, and I feel like this is ultimately an original film at a time when original movies aren't really put out. Did you not see Sinners? Did you not see Weapons? Those are original films. Did you not see Companion? That's an original film. What are you talking about? Willis. They said, Chalamet said when asked about the press tour, it's a movie about the pursuit of a dream. I'm leaving it on the field, whether it's the merch or the Zoom or the media appearances. I'm trying to get this out in the biggest way possible in the spirit of Marty Mauser. Now, Chalamet has lost 2 Oscars, 4 Golden Globes, and 4 BAFTA Awards, and a Partridge in the Pear Tree, although he did take home a SAG Award, when that was called the Actor Awards, for Best Actor in February, thanks to his performance as Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown. Now, in a Vogue cover story published on November 2025, the actor opened up about being disappointed when he lost at the Oscars, saying, if there's 5 people at an award show and 4 people go home losing, you don't think those 4 people are at the restaurant like, damn, we didn't win? I've been around some deeply generous, no ego actors, and maybe some of them are going, that was fun, but I know for a fact I'm not. In fact, a lot of them are going, fuck. People can call me a tryhard, which I do think that you do come across as a tryhard, sir. And they can say whatever the fuck. But I'm the one actually doing it here. Well, that's great, but for you act like Nobody's gonna take away your talent and how hard you work. And I'm always of the argument that whatever is meant for you is meant for you and it will come to you in your time. But if you're only doing this just so that way you could win awards, then, sir, you are in the wrong business. Because I don't understand people that's like, well, my whole goal as a musician is to win a Grammy. So your whole point of a musician is not to just make the best work you possibly can or to just create art. I mean, of course, there's people that, I mean, quiet as it's kept, I mean, it ain't that big of a deal if you up in here trying to do it for the money, because the money ain't all that great with the music. You got to be able to sell records and merch and all that other stuff, or to even make money these days. A lot of these artists running around here trying to act like they balling. A lot of them are broke. Trust to believe. So, are you doing this because you have a love for the craft, or are you doing it because you're all about trying to win awards just so that way you can have notches on your belt and people can read your laundry list of achievements like you Beyonce? I mean, is this why you in the game? Because if you in it for that, then the pretentiousness of it all, you in it for the wrong reason. So people, I guess, are calling you this because of how you coming across. You coming across that ego is about as big as your head. So Handler and Hurst compared Chalamet to Leo DiCaprio, whom the latter dubbed her gold star when it comes to acting like a real movie star in Hollywood. She said Leo wouldn't say that, even though it took him so long to win, right? He didn't win anything until the Wrestling with the Bear movie. I mean, yeah. Even though quiet as it's kept, he should have won for other things. I did not think The Revenant was one of them. One of the movies he should have won for, but that's what they gave it him for. I feel like that was what I always call like a sympathy win, because you know a lot of time when Hollywood screws up, and it's like, no, he should have won for Wolf of Wall Street. Oh no, he should have won for Was Eating Gilbert Grape. Oh no, he should have won for this film. But y'all want to give it to him for Wrestling with a Damn Bear? Okay. It's kind of like when you look at Zoe Saldana, like, I've done so many great roles. You want to give it to me for being in a movie about people saying about penises and vaginas? Okay. So then they said Handler agreed, saying Leo wouldn't do that. Leo was a movie star. He wouldn't talk like that. That's new. I haven't heard any actor talk kind of talk like that. And I guess maybe it's because Timothee is a different type of Hollywood actor. Maybe it's because Timothee is this is like the Gen Z equivalent of the new movie star. Where it's like when Leo DiCaprio he and I came up in the same era, the same time or whatever. So we didn't have social media and all these other things where they will follow. I mean, we had paparazzi and all this other stuff. They follow you every move. And then they make the jokes about him and his girlfriends where they don't, surpass the age of 25, whatever. But the times were different. And I guess now when we have social media and now he's dating one of the Kardashian girls and all this other stuff, it's a different way to approach the whole Hollywood thing or whatever the case is. That's why I said before, I'm not going to take away from Timothee. I think he's a phenomenal actor, but the ego you doing too much with the ego, and you need to be knocked down a couple of pegs. That's all I got to say on that. So yeah, and I'm going to be honest. I feel like because of the way that the promotions and everything has been about this film and the overhyping of it all, that's one of the reasons why I really haven't been that compelled to rush to go see Marty Supreme. I'll wait till it comes out on streaming. Even then, I might not even be interested in wanting to check that movie out. Like, to me, it's like, I get Timothee Chalamet as an actor, but to me, he's more, I like him in stuff like Wonka and Dune. Like, that's the stuff I want to see him in. I could care less about him playing some goddamn ping pong. Quiet as it's kept, I was bored with ping pong we had the table and everything in my high school. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you agree with Chelsea that, yeah, Timothee is acting a little too big for his britches in regards to the ego ever since this whole Marty Supreme movie? Like, you taking yourself a little too seriously. You're not curing cancer. You're an actor. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. She said, what I'll add is that he is definitely aware that he is the it boy when it comes to young actors, even though he doesn't have an Oscar and will keep baiting until he wins. Yeah, that's what I was like. He still wants that damn Oscar. Oh, because of the sucking thing. And you said, yes, I made the live this time. And of course, I'm walking in on a hot. Well, it wouldn't be a show if I didn't have a hot read to go along with it, right? That's how you get an Oscar by recent my recent nomination losses. I remember a viral tweet. He went into psychosis when Mikey Madison won an Oscar for her first nomination. Oh, why? Because it was like, oh, she won hers first. And they'd be like, I've been doing this for years and y'all won't give me an Oscar. The Globes favored newer talent many times. Almost 2 more months till spring. Yeah, I can't wait because this cold weather, I'm over it. The being sick and all this other stuff. Wait, you said you was on a long stream. Wow, what was it that you were on the what do you call it? There's two. I'm doing 2 streams on here. One is like the regular one that y'all see now, and then there's the phone one. So is that what you're talking about? The reels, where it's like in the reels thing. Demi Moore's performance last year wasn't the best to win on, in my opinion. But I guess because it's like, slim pickings with her at this point. So we got to give her something. Because, yeah, it was like that movie she was in was all right. Funny enough, I bought it because it was like no way of me actually being able to see it. Now it's streaming everywhere. But at the time when it was being so hyped up, I was like, let me just buy it. That movie was so gross with all the body horror and stuff. I was like, and so I've only watched it once. I don't think Kylie is going to want to have kids. Could be a future problem for their relationship he got with a ready-made family unless they get a surrogate. I could definitely see a surrogate. I mean, we've seen plenty of celebrities do that. Kandi Burruss, who we're going to get into later on, use a surrogate. And now look at her. She's getting a divorce. All right. Let me close that so we can go into this next story. All right, y'all. So now let's go from one Timothy to another. Let's talk about Timothy Busfield. So I would decide to wait a while because I remember when I had a story on this a couple of last week, and I was like, you want to know something? I want to wait until all of this stuff hits what it needs to hit, meaning there was a warrant out for his arrest. And once the arrest situation and all the details was going to come out about that story, I was like, then I'll bring it on. So yes, he was arrested yesterday. So yesterday, the day before, I think it was yesterday. So I was like, now I got fatigue, including the mugshot. Now they go to mugshot. Now, for those of you who don't know who Timothy Busfield is, Timothy's been a movie and TV actor for a long time. He was on The West Wing. He's currently married to Melissa Gilbert. For those of you who don't know who Melissa Gilbert is, Laura Ingalls Wilder from Little House on the Prairie. And even funny enough, she wrote something a couple of weeks ago. I guess they were talking about Me Too or something, or I can't remember what it was. And she admitted that she Googled something about herself, and there was a thing where it was like she was 15 at the time, and they had her kiss an actor that was on Little House on the Prairie who was damn near 30. So there was a whole situation regarding that she had talked about where, child sexual abuse and that sort of thing. And maybe is that kind of abuse that was going with that? Because I'm 15 years old, I'm underage. You got me making out with some grown man on a show. And we ain't look at it like that back then. But now we're looking at this something like, damn, what the fuck were these people thinking? So Timothy Busfield, apparently, she got a way of pulling in these alleged perverts. I don't want to windmill too hard on him, but I'm gonna read some of the stuff that I had found out, including this story that I just pulled up from the Hollywood Reporter, maybe that was dropped an hour before I did the show, where this is the first time he's been accused of misconduct. So we'll get into that in the beginning, but let me get through this deadline story first. So Timothy Busfield, who turned himself in today, as in yesterday, to face childhood SA charges, he's been officially arrested and booked by the Albuquerque Police Department. The 30-something, he was on 30-something too, but that was before my time, had proclaimed he is innocent of the accusations. Looking at potential decades in a New Mexico prison, if found guilty on the felonies, Busfield was booked at 1:08 p.m. Pacific time at the Bernalillo County Metro Detention Center. And as y'all can see, I posted up the mugshot on the side. Now, as a detailed warrant, arrest warrant, I should say, was issued on January 9th, hit Busfield with 2 counts of criminal sexual contact with a minor and child abuse. The claims arise out of Busfield's stint as a director on the now shuttered Fox drama The Cleaning Lady earlier this decade. Now, in a video first obtained by TMZ from a New Mexico law firm, the Larry Stein represented Busfield said on Tuesday, "I'm here now. I got a call Friday night. I had to get a lawyer. Saturday, I got in a car. I drove 2,000 miles to Albuquerque. I'm going to confront these lies. They're horrible. They're all lies, and I did not do anything to those little boys. It almost feels like Bill Clinton didn't have sex with that woman, and I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight it with a great team, and I'm going to be exonerated. I know I am, because this is also wrong and all lies, so hang in there, and hopefully I'm out real soon and back to work, and I love everybody for supporting me." Now, the T on this is twin boys, well, they're brothers, obviously, born in 2014, who worked on Fox's now canceled The Cleaning Lady, on which Busfield directed several episodes and served as an executive producer, claimed that the West Wing actor touched them inappropriately. One of the boys, referenced as SL, told APD officer Marvin Brown, who wrote up the comprehensive warrant after a few months of investigation, that Busfield touched his frontal area and back area. I gotta be careful with the wording, so forgive me on that. Blame YouTube. Masking it as play on more than one occasion. At almost the same time that Busfield delivered himself to police in the Western state, reps for his wife Melissa Gilbert put out their own statement on NBC News. Is Melissa Gilbert also related to Darlene from Roseanne, Sarah? And it said, during this period, her focus is on supporting and caring for the very large family as they navigate their moment. A Gilbert spokesperson said for the ex Little House on the Prairie star and labor boss. Oh yeah, I forgot. She used to run SAG-AFTRA before she stepped down, and now it's run by Sean Astin. You know, Samwise Gamgee from the Lord of the Rings movies. Or, you know, Mikey from Goonies. That's like one of my favorite movies. But anyway, so, and he was also on Stranger Things. Now, they said that Melissa stands with and supports her husband and will address the public at an appropriate time. The APD have been investigating this case since late 2024 to varying degrees. Now, in the warrant, Officer Brown writes that PDF files often infiltrate families under a trusted role. Like Timothee, who was a producer, exploited the hectic film sets. However, in a conversation with Officer Brown later last year, Busfield pointed to another potentially pivotal factor in the history of himself and the boys' family. Now, Busfield told Brown in a November 3rd, 2025 phone interview that Cleaning Lady lead actress Elodie Young, who y'all also made, I mean, I don't know if y'all watched the show. I never watched The Cleaning Lady, so I don't know much about the show, but I've heard of it because I used to see all the advertisements and stuff. But Elodie Young also played Elektra in the Daredevil TV series, informed him back in late 2024 that the mother of SL and VL, that she wanted revenge, and I'm going to get my revenge on Tim Busfield for not bringing her kids back for the final season. Well, I don't know if that was necessarily his case to do that. It's up to the people writing the show if they want to bring those characters back. So what they're saying is the mother is lying, and she's making all of this up, that Timothee touched her children inappropriately to get revenge because her kids are out of a job. Now, I'm not going to, my thing is always believe victims. But at the same time, you do have sick-ass parents out here who sit and force their children to say all kinds of incriminating stuff. We've seen it with the Michael Jackson case, which is probably why they had that mess sealed. Probably the one that they were going to use for that third act in the Michael movie, but told them that they couldn't use the footage because the contracts that was signed, and then they had to go and redo that entire third act. So there are parents out here who are show moms that are disgusting parents that sit out here and prostitute their children. They do it sexually, but I don't mean it in this context. They will prostitute their children because they want them to be in the industry because they couldn't hack it. So now you out here being like one of those parents that are, making your kids lie and do all this other stuff so that way y'all can get some coins. But he's saying he gonna fight it. So he was like, I didn't do that to them kids and I'm going to fight it. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, you know what? At the end of the day, he has a right to defend himself. He has a right to do what he got to do to exonerate himself from these charges. If there's evidence or whatever, they'll be able to speak on it. But you already see the industry is already responding. There was supposed to be an episode of Law and Order SVU with him in it, where he was going to be playing a judge. That episode was actually supposed to air tomorrow on NBC. They took it down. And I know some people are like, well, why y'all taking something down? He ain't guilty. NBC is covering themselves because it's like, yeah, we may not know whether or not this man did this. So in the meantime, we're going to take this episode. I just feel for all the other actors that are in that episode that we're not going to be able to see their work. Because they probably been running around saying, damn, I just did this episode, and it's probably like my first movie or my first TV show, whatever the case was, and I'm about to be in this thing and telling all your friends, and now with this drama coming out, it's like, damn, now people ain't gonna be able to see it. But who knows? Once this case is all wrapped up or whatever the case is, if he's found not guilty, the episode may come out. If not, we may never see that episode again. So, unfortunately, it is what it is. So, yeah, we have that. He's currently still being held. I want to see if there was any information on that. Yeah, he's in a cell currently. Based off of this latest report, I don't think there's anything else to add to that. But I do have. Wait, hold on now. Now I do have something to add. So then there was a story that came out from the Hollywood Reporter that's spilling this tape, saying new SA allegation against Timothee Busfield disclosed in prosecution filing. So this isn't the first time that he's been accused of abuse. They said prosecutors, and even though this should be two different cases, whatever the case is, but it's kind of got me side-eyeing you a little bit. So they went on to say prosecutors in New Mexico have detailed a new allegation of SA against actor and director Timothee Busfield. In a court filing on Wednesday, the district attorney's office for Bernalillo County accuses Busfield of groping a then 16-year-old girl when she was auditioning for a role several years ago at the B Street Theater in Sacramento, California. The exact year was not disclosed. He allegedly kissed her and put his hands down her pants and touched her privates. You got a thing for touching people's privates, because allegedly you went and touched a little boy private in the front and the back, and now you're doing the same thing with this girl, allegedly. So Busfield is also co-founder of the theater company and is former artistic director. He is listed as a board member emeritus on the company's website. The victim's father reported the incident to law enforcement on Tuesday when Busfield turned himself into authorities after he was charged with 2 counts of criminal sexual contact of a minor, and 1 count of CA. Well, I'm sure if y'all can read along, you know what the CA is. According to the filing, the family agreed not to report the alleged assault to law enforcement after Busfield said he'd received therapy. Child. So now you sitting into my, well, look, don't file any charges. I'll get therapy for my situation. I don't think, first of all, I don't think you could be, there's a cure for sex. Just like there ain't no cure for, praying the gay away. And we're going to get into that story. We talk about Auntie McClurkin in the next topic. Just like you can't pray the gay away, you cannot cure pedophilia. So if you got a thing for children, which I don't understand people that's into that sort of thing, there's no cure for that. You thinking you going to therapy that's going to do it? The only way that's going to cure that is you get a goddamn lobotomy. Now, the allegations surfaced as part of an effort to keep Busfield detained in Albuquerque, where he is accused of S-ing 2 boys on the set of The Cleaning Lady. We already went through that. Now, in a statement, Larry Stein, a lawyer for Busfield, denied the allegations, saying as a voluntary step, he submitted to an independent polygraph examination regarding those allegations and passed. Well, look, if there was a story that came out about him allegedly inappropriately touching somebody's daughter, and the records on that was sealed, because we don't have any information on how many years ago that was, now I'm kind of looking at you side-eyed. So I know this is still relatively fresh. Oh, and there was another thing. So the story that had came out last week was that Melissa Gilbert had deactivated her Instagram because of all the allegations. She don't want anybody up in her comments, saying all kinds of crazy stuff regarding her or standing by her husband or her husband doing things that he's being accused of doing. But I'll definitely keep you abreast of this story as it develops, because these people in Hollywood, what is going on with y'all? Y'all are a mess. And the fact that y'all doing the crazy shenanigans y'all out here doing, touching children inappropriately, using y'all companies and stuff as a way to groom children or whatever the case is. But He has a right to defend himself. He'll get to have his day in court, and we will definitely be here addressing the story as it develops. So I say to you, in the meantime, what do you think of all this information that I have brought you regarding this whole Timothee Busfield case? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I don't think Kylie is gonna want to have kids. Could be. Oh wait. Did we? Oh, I read that already. If someone in the music industry or movie industry, is in the movie industry, music industry, yeah, and he's definitely giving like that. Like you really, I guess you feel like I've done so much work. Child, come speak to me when you had a career for 4 decades in the game, like a Denzel Washington or whatever the case is. You ain't been in the industry that damn long, sir. To be trying to act, to have the ego that you've been having. I'm surprised he is still a name in the industry. He's been acting since the 80s. Yeah, that's because Timothee Busfield's been in the background a lot. He's been directing. When he did 30-something and The West Wing and all these other shows, but he's been in the background a lot. So that's why it's like, yeah, I was surprised when that name came up. He was one of the main stars in Revenge of the Nerds. Damn, now you taking it back. 30-something was 30-something was huge back in the day. I remember that show being so big, but I was way too young to even understand what was going on in that show. So, yeah, shout out to Rose McGowan. I don't know if y'all ever seen that interview that she did. That was a good one. And shout out to her because she came out defending Marilyn Manson. So many people been saying so much stuff about Marilyn Manson and these allegations of abuse of women and all this other stuff. I know he's been accused of a lot of things. I don't think he's a woman abuser. And she was in a relationship with him for a long time. Even at a point they were engaged. So I'm going to believe her over Evan Rachel Wood. I generally don't know who he is. I just had to look. But yeah, Timothee Busfield's been around for he's a well-known TV act. Like he's done a lot of television. He's more like would he be considered a character actor? Like he's had a steady career. He's never been like some big breakout star, but he's had a genuinely stable career. People know his wife more than they would know him. All right, so now let's get back into the rest of the show. So we can go from one pervert allegedly to another. Let's talk about Babs, formerly of The Bam, spilling tea about Auntie McClurkin. So Babs recently did Oliver Twix's YouTube show. She came on as a guest. They started spewing about Diddy and a whole bunch of other things. But then she decided to spill some tea regarding Auntie McClurkin and said that, child, we all knew that man been a homosexual. He run out here talking about he prayed the gay away. He ain't gay no more. He been delivered and all that other mess. And then Babs out here said that he was out here hunching her underage male gay friend. So we're going to play that clip. Shout out to the Jasmine brand for having this. And then I'm going to play y'all Donnie McClurkin speaking out against, because I was like, I don't think we played that on the show, where he spoke out against the guy that's been accusing him of assault. So yeah, we're gonna play this clip of her on Oliver Twix and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
Something about Auntie Donnie. Because it's somebody else's business, and I want to say God bless the dead to one of my good friends. But let me tell you something, honey. He was messing with Donnie. And I do know a little bit of something about Auntie Donnie. I say allegedly because he's not here no more to confirm it. But I hate to say allegedly because I know this for a fact because I was there. All right. And, he was very young, and when they started messing around, I say allegedly messing around.
Underage.
Hold on, why are these damn clips so short on the Jasmine Bland? Like, y'all don't know how to edit and put together things that's longer than 30 seconds? I just had to say that because that was annoying. I've seen other videos put longer videos in, which is why I was wondering. But anyway, let's go back to the clip.
Yeah, underage. He wasn't, let me just say, he wasn't a baby. Allegedly, as the relationship went on, he became a legal age, allegedly, in the relationship. My friend, he was in the church and around.
Underage.
Yeah. And a lot of times they was treating him funny in the church. My friend was very flamboyant. And so they had this relationship allegedly going on. And then when my friend, he passed away. And at the funeral, the pastor and a lot of pastor went off because the pastor knew about Donnie allegedly, right? And so the pastor was upset that Donnie was not there. Allegedly. He was very upset.
Look at Oliver's face. That is a funny part for me. And she kept saying allegedly. Well, child, I think she said allegedly more than I've said allegedly on this show.
And you pastor went off because the pastor know that Donnie allegedly should have been in the building. And, show your face.
At the funeral, Babs?
At the funeral in Queens, New York. We know that story, and I can tell them, and you can take it how you want to take it. It doesn't even matter to me because it's 2026, and I'm tired of not talking when everybody else is talking. I want to be in a conversation too. If I really want to get messy, you know what I'm saying? Start the hotline, and I could have 5-6 people call in on the hotline to confirm my allegations. What? And the only reason why I'm saying this, because you should have showed up to the funeral. Start the hotline, and I could have him. But the fact that my friend was open, well, allegedly, fact that my friend was open and Donnie wasn't really, he's going back and forth, he's tussling it. I guess he couldn't,
Did your friend ever say
him? But the fact that my friend was.
All right. Well, let me find out that Auntie McClurkin. I gagged because that was the first time I saw that clip, and she called him Auntie too. But that's what we call our the older cousins. We call them Auntie. Auntie McClurkin. When that feminine side come out, she Auntie McClurkin. She not But anyway, so with that being said, I'm gagging over this because I was not expecting that to be the gag of the situation. But now, do I believe it? I sure do. I definitely believe every aspect of it. But and she kept saying allegedly, which one person said saying allegedly actually doesn't protect you when reporting a story as factual. You could say allegedly and then go on to say you saw it with your own eyes. Once you assert personal knowledge or present the claim as established fact, the legal protection of allegedly disappears. Signed, journalist and legal analyst, Docket Diva. Well, yeah, if you ever say allegedly and you put things in a hypothetical, that protects you. But when you say, oh, wait, but I was there and I saw him kikiing with my good sister, then it's like, oh, well, you actually putting yourself out there as a witness. And you could possibly be called to the stand that there's some confirmation that Donnie McClurkin is one of the girls, which I don't know why anybody would be surprised. Like, as I told y'all before, and from one homosexual to another, you cannot pray gay away. It is not something that you could just, with enough prayer and in Jesus' name, hallelujah and amen and all that stuff. Like, you doing all of that is not going to get rid of the fact that you's a hoe. So now some other people in the comments said, we been knew Unc was sweet. The issue is he like him young. Then another person said, why did y'all chop this video up like that? Thank you. That was my irritation. I'm like, why is this thing like 10 seconds long? Y'all didn't need to put that in like that. You could have put you could probably have like 3 good slides and that would have been up in there. Shit, quiet as it's kept. I should have just went over to Oliver's page and just use the clip from over there on his YouTube. Just put it right in the segment and just play it on here instead of having to deal with all that foolishness. So I'm glad somebody called it out. Another person, of course he did. Why y'all acting so damn surprised? It's always those ones. Now somebody put Donnie girl up in the conversation. And then somebody said, whether truthful or not, her intentions don't seem right. Do it matter? I mean, was his intentions allegedly right when he did what he did to that man? When you was sitting there acting like you could help him pray that gay away, allegedly, and you was up in there praying on him to have relations with him and all those other things that the man is accusing you of? Why are we protecting abusers? Somebody said, didn't he admit he liked men a few years ago and now he said, child. Yeah, he admitted he said, I'm not gay no more. He said that like he was Andrew Caldwell, which we all know, child, that's a lie. But anyway, so before we get up off this thing, I do want to play the other side. So let's get up in here and play Auntie McClurkin, looking every bit like the old lady sitting under the tree. His condemning the recent allegations brought to him about what's his name? I forget his accuser's name. Maybe it's in this article. I don't see it. All I see is the attorney name, Gregory Lacey. How do you not put the man that accusing him of the abuse in there? It's about filed by a man accusing him of SA. You could have put the man name in there on Hollywood Unlocked. That's the least you could do. Y'all be doing every damn thing else. But anyway, nevertheless, let's play what Auntie McClurkin had to say about this mess, and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
Something personally. You've heard a lot that's been going on. You've heard many different accusations lodged and alleged. You've heard some very untrue things. And you've also seen an official statement that I put out that I wanted to lend my voice and my face to this. And I wanted to let you know that I thank God for every one of you praying for me and for the support. And I thank God for truth, which you have not heard. You have not heard the truth, but you will. But I just didn't want to go any longer without addressing it. I've remained silent while this campaign, this media campaign was launched. I've remained silent because the Bible tells you to be slow to speak. Just wanted to address something personally. You've heard a lot that's been going on. You've heard many different accusations lodged and alleged. You've heard some very untrue things. And you've also seen an official statement that I put out that I wanted to lend my voice and my face to this. And I wanted to let you know that I thank God for every one of you praying for me and for the support. And I thank God for truth, which you have not heard. You have not heard the truth, but you will. But I just didn't want to go any longer without addressing it. I've remained silent while this campaign, this media campaign was launched. I've remained silent because the Bible tells you to be slow to speak. Just wanted to address something personally. You've heard a lot that's been slow to speak, quick to hear, and slow to anger. And so I had to sit back and I had to pray because there are people that look for this to be true. There are people that have already formed their opinion based on the strategic approach of defamation that's gone forward. But I just want to let you all know from my mouth to you, from my heart to yours, that it's unfortunate that I'm trying to be delicate,
It'll be the first time you was being delicate.
It's unfortunate that such allegations have been lodged. I don't understand the machinations of the young man's mind. He's not young, really. He's 40-some-odd years old. But I've been seeing this slow fellow in over, well, now it's 11 years, since 2015. And I haven't spoken to him since that long either. But people do things for different reasons. Most of them are monetarily motivated. And it's a shame. It's a shame because to consider yourself or to proclaim yourself to be a victim of something that didn't happen discredits the people that it has happened to. And it's a shame. But the one thing that I do know is that truth will always prevail.
Okay, we can just stop it there. This man is taking so goddamn long to get to the point. I'm about to fall asleep on my own goddamn show. So, one person said that means you're gay. Another person said that email is pretty telling. Another person said, oh, okay, so where's the hotel footage? Leak the hotel footage like y'all did for Cassie. Now, hold on. How you sit up in here equating the shit that went with Cassie with Donnie McClurkin? And even when y'all had the evidence that Diddy was beating Cassie ass, y'all still bent yourselves like a pretzel to make excuses for that man. So get off my line with the bullshit. Another person said, did the praying the gay away work? That's all I want to know. Yeah. Now, you know damn well that shit didn't work. Based off of your pictures, I don't think it did. Now, people up in the comments harassing, talking about gay. Not the gay meter. Y'all don't believe him because of what? Because we know he full of shit. So look, you're gonna have your day in court. You're gonna be able to I guess come to whatever Jesus moment you're gonna come to and just handle it from there. If you saying that you're gonna be exonerated, I just feel like that you just need to get off the internet and let these people over there, your lawyers, do what need to be done instead of getting on the line and giving us this 20-minute citation, which you trying to throw every other religious stereotype. So I prayed about it and God and this, all the little buzzwords that people like y'all like to use to cover up the fact that y'all are despicable, disgusting monsters. Him and that old fat bitch with no neck, them crooked wigs, and who feet, them ham-hock feet, be fighting for their life in them damn heels. Kim Burrell, between the two of you, oh, I can't stand neither one of y'all ass. So I'm hoping that the chickens will come home to roost in regards to your situation, because you pray to get away types. Oh, y'all the people that I can't stand, because y'all be out here spreading these lies and spreading so much hate and vitriol in regards of homosexuality, because you can't come to the term with the fact that your ass like sucking dick. So you got to take advantage of other people in order to get them your little rocks off. So you perverts, you pedophiles, you abusers, a lot of you who like to hide behind God so that way y'all can just do y'all despicable crap. There's a special place in hell for y'all. That's why I'm going so hard on him, more so than when I be going on other people on things. So if it's a bias there for me in this situation, oh well, deal with it. So I say all this to say, when you guys think of this story, do you believe Babs, formerly of the band, who spilled tea about her friend Donnie McClurkin, her friend and Donnie McClurkin hunching, and say he was of a younger age when they hooked up? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. Yeah, he was a regular on the West Wing. Let the church sing, but do is shady. I would have said this during the last topic, but why did Tom Welling's cute self not take acting serious and retire in his early 30s? He declined Marvel's offer for. But he was supposed to play that. Yeah, he was turning on a lot of stuff. But then remember, he went and said that. But then he went and did that remake of The Fog, which was god awful. The cleaner those pastors, not the cleaner pastors nailed, the dirtier the sheets. Wait, is that ping pong? Or is that something else? Hollywood Unhinged. That's pretty much what they need to call themselves. Child, he a whole queen. And why was he sound like Miles Mabley when he was giving that whole long drawn out, yeah, baby, I'm gonna tell you, I sat at home when I prayed about it. I spoke to the sky daddy, and he said, I got you covered. That's like, shut the fuck up with all of that. One of my best friends was doing drag 20 years ago. He now oversees a congregation. I'm sure none of them know his past. Okay. Such allegations always pull me in many directions. One part feels sorry for both the accused and the victim. Another part is disturbed by the accused. And another is proud of myself for my coming out. You know who I was thinking? I don't think I reiterated this in that story about Timothee Busfield. Regardless of who might be guilty of this situation, whether it's the mother taking advantage of them kids and trying to get back at Timothee Busfield by spreading alleged lies, or Timothee Busfield taking advantage of those poor kids. The ones I feel bad about in this whole situation is the twins, because them kids was being pulled around like a rope during tug of war in this whole situation, where at the end of the day, they're being used by both sides. If it turns out that the mother is spreading these lies as a way of getting revenge because they wouldn't put her kids in the final season of The Cleaning Lady. It sure does. And that's why I think you pretty much put in a sentence with me trying to articulate, because I feel like it's a trigger for me, and a lot of times I stumble on my words in regards to that, because I definitely feel like when you're someone who grows up in the church and you are a member of the Levitical plus community, that fight that you have where the church condemns you, and like what Bab said about how the church was always going in on her friend because he was flamboyant, and they don't like that. I was like, oh, but y'all be looking the other way when them pastors and them deacons or whatever be up there hunting them little flamboyant children. Y'all be looking the other way because y'all want to still have that connection to, what the church gives. So y'all be looking over, y'all be aware of all of that mess. It's kind of like what Yolanda Adams said on the show when we played that clip, where she was like, oh yeah, I'm aware of all the gays and the queer kids and stuff that's been a part of the church. We're just as much a part of the church as regular people. But the fact of the matter is they want to go out and spread their vitriol and stuff. And so when you come from a place of, my parents weren't deeply religious with us and all this stuff. And I question a lot of it because it was like, yeah, I grew up Catholic, did communion, confirmation, the whole thing, Sunday school, all of that stuff. My mother went to Catholic school. So having all of that indoctrinated me as a kid, it's sort of like when you have this confliction of being LGBT, and then also you have the church side where they tell you going to hell and all this other stuff because of religion or whatever the case is, there's that conflict. So I think it's a trigger for a lot of us who came up in that, where we're trying to, where you feel like you want to have that connection, not necessarily to the religious aspect, but to spirituality and, being your out proud queer self. Not play Biz Markie. I was thinking that. You going to hell for that. Because I was sitting there thinking, what? Donnie McClurkin, you trying to say Donnie McClurkin sound like Holiday Heart? Shout out to Ving Rhames. Did y'all see that TikTok video? I reposted it, and I posted on my social medias of Mohart going in on Bowen Yang and that other queen. Speaking of drag, did you see the interview? Yes, I do. I did, and it is a clip I'm going to be showing when I get to the Bob stuff. So, yeah, I'm definitely using that clip as a reference. And he said, what I hate about religion is how hypocritical religious people, of course, they're the main ones. All right, y'all. So now let's see. All right. Let's get back into the show. And let's talk about Chris Brown. So I'm sorry, it looks like Chris Breezy, we got some bad news for you, because that little defamation suit that you had on when you was suing, was it? Wait, what channel was it on? Was it Peacock? Was it Paramount Plus? It was one of them damn channels. So there was a 2024 documentary called Chris Brown, A History of Violence, where he was trying to say that it was a bunch of lies that was made up about him in, speaking of grape and all the other stuff regarding him and that situation. Well, now comes word that the judge pretty much threw out the case. He's dismissed it, and then that's the end of it. So Chris Brown's defamation lawsuit against the companies behind the 2024 documentary has been dismissed by the judge, as I said. Now, as reported by Billboard, a court order issued on Monday, January 12th, dismissed a $500 million defamation lawsuit, which Brown filed against Warner Brothers. Okay, it was Warner Brothers Discovery, WBD, and Ample Entertainment. Isn't Ample Entertainment Steven Spielberg? The 36-year-old singer-songwriter filed the lawsuit against last January and accused the team behind the project of promoting and publishing false information in the pursuit of likes, clicks, downloads, and dollars. The documentary delves into the various assault and SA allegations against Brown, including a woman who alleged that he R-worded her on Diddy's yacht in 2020. In his lawsuit, Brown's legal team asserted that the woman claims have been disproven by the inconsistencies in her account and how she concealed various text messages that could have been used as evidence after she reported the alleged incident to the authorities. The court saying, quote, the court has personally viewed the entire documentary. The documentary recites most of the inconsistencies plaintiff notes, including the existence of the text messages. Judge Colin Lace wrote in the dismissal order, claiming that the documentary presents a balanced view. Media defendants thus presented a fair and true report of the woman's statements and the judicial record and proceedings. Brown's lawsuit also accused Warner Brothers Discovery and Ample Entertainment of defaming him with it didn't take much to try to defame you, sir. I mean, you was out here doing that all on your lonesome. Defaming him with the inclusion of an interview with writer Scotchy Cole, I think is how you say the name, who said that Brown has a predisposition for punching women in the face. However, the judge argued that Brown previously admitted to punching the singer Rihanna. Well, he didn't admit it. We saw the pictures. And Brown presents no evidence that Scotchy Cole's opinions are false. In 2009, Brown assaulted his then, we already know the teacher, but for those of you who've been living under a rock, let's, I guess, entertain it. And we got some tea on Rihanna coming up later on in the show. Leaving her with severe bruising on her face. That same year, he pleaded guilty to felony assault and was ordered to serve 5 years of probation, 1 year of DV counseling, and 6 months of community service. Several other women have accused him of violence, including the woman who alleged that he R-worded her on Diddy's yacht in 2020. That lawsuit, however, was dismissed. So, we always say on this show, whether or not, if it's true, whatever the case is, when they come out with these true crime stuff or whatever on these streaming services, there's been a lot of money to be made where they do it on Chris Brown, they did a bunch on Diddy and all these other people. People are going to believe, there's the court opinion and the court of public opinion. And people are going to believe what they want to believe regardless. Whether or not you slice it, it's like, yeah, you lost on the deal. It was dismissed. They were like, there's no merit in this whole situation. So you take a big fat L on this. I'm sorry, Chris. But look, at the end of the day, the way I look at it, it hasn't hurt your career. You're still able to go out here and do stadiums and travel the world and do all these shows. It's like nothing touches you. He's like Teflon whenever it comes to stuff that's going on with him getting into it, whether it's people that he's worked with or people that apparently one guy said he got jumped by Chris and his crew. I don't know what's going on with that case. We haven't heard anything about that yet. There's always something, seems like trouble always seems to follow Chris. And regardless of the fact, kind of like Trey Songz, nothing touches you. So even though you lost this case, it is what it is. Let it go and move on because, like I said, it's not hurting your career any damn way. So what you got to be mad about? So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Chris Brown losing his defamation case against that History of Violence documentary that aired over on HBO? Well, Warner Brothers Discovery had it. So I guess it was HBO Max that you'll be able to see that. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Yeah, child, the quiet as it's kept. That's what I was going to say. I remember seeing a picture. It's like, yeah, the top queens is working, but I do agree. The thing is getting oversaturated. But we'll talk about that when we cross that bridge and get to those topics. Now, speaking of topics, we are now down to our final 4 topics. So before we get to our final 4, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. Now, without further ado, let's get into some former Housewives news because we got a bunch of Housewives stuff that's coming out with people who was formerly a part of it. But let's focus on this one. So apparently Kandi and Todd's divorce situation, it seems like it's getting a lot nastier. I was not expecting their situation to get as bad as it was. I thought it was going to be amicable, but it looked like Todd ain't playing fairly. Things is getting gross. It's getting pretty nasty. And so let's get into some things because Kandi trying to get some stuff sealed. Todd is like, well, you the one that been out here running your damn mouth. So what we need to seal, like let people, you've been busy trying to control the narrative. So why we got to have certain things that you want sealed? But then when I wasn't out here talking, now you got a whole lot to say. So on Thursday, January 8th, Burruss, who's 49, filed court docs demanding a hearing to be set to determine presenting time and child support as part of her divorce to Tucker, who is Todd Tucker. I don't know why y'all have a hard time putting his goddamn whole name in here, who's 52. Shout out to Us Weekly because this is where the story comes from. Now, Burruss filed for divorce on November 21st, 2025. The exes share 2 children, Ace born in 2016, and Blaze born in 2019. Burruss said the kids have significantly monthly expenses that include a nanny, tuition, extracurricular activities, birthday parties, medical bills, travel, and daily needs. I thought she was going to say the kids have a lawyer, a nanny, a manager, and a chef. 3/8 of 60 and how the song? Forget the lyrics of Madonna's American Life. I used to recite that shit all the damn time. But anyway, let's get back into the and me stop making cracking jokes. So she claimed Tucker has failed to provide support for the kids, yet has traveled out of the country on multiple occasions for vacation. So he got money for vacations, but you ain't got money to take care of your children. And you saying Kandi the one out here who's taking care of them kids? You want to know something? Wasn't Mama Joyce out here saying the same thing? Do we owe Mama Joyce an apology? Like, I was really trying to be like, you know what, old lady, mind your business. Though she part of the old lady gang, so I can say old lady. I was like, lady, mind your business. Let these people live their life the way they want to live it. And maybe she saw the writing on the wall. She saw it for what it was, and she was basically trying to protect her daughter. I thought maybe she was just like, she didn't want to share in the wealth because she's benefiting wholeheartedly off of Kandi taking care of her and probably the whole family and stuff. But Todd was out here grifting too. So maybe Mama Joyce was right. Do we owe her an apology? I don't know if I'm willing to go that far. But let's continue. So Burruss said Tucker is a self-employed entrepreneur who can provide support for the kids. She said he does not pay the mortgage or expenses for their marital home. In her filing, Burruss said Tucker does not exercise parenting time with the minor children on a significant basis, despite the facade of his 2 to 3 minute social media videos chronicling his daddy daycare on his social media platforms. Child, let me find out you up in here trying to just create videos to create a narrative, but you're not really out here taking time to take care and hang out with your own kids. You literally out here using them as a prop to gain, daddy daycare points. So now they said Burruss claims Tucker intentionally interfered with her custody time, her lawyer noted. Specifically, during the recent Christmas holiday break, Tucker attempted to prohibit the children from traveling to New York to visit Burruss, even though she had previously incurred costs for travel for the children and provided Tucker with significant notice of her intent to exercise parenting time during the children designated holiday break. For those of you who are not aware, the reason why they were saying this, she's in New York because she's doing & Juliet on Broadway. I think she's going to be out there until March, if I'm not mistaken. It might be longer. But yeah, she's currently in New York on Broadway right now. Now, Burruss asked the court to set a custody schedule. When contacted for comment on Burruss's motion, Tucker's lawyer, Randall Kessler, told us, rather than commenting to the press, we leave these matters to the court and what is in our properly filed documents. A couple of days before, on January 5th, Tucker fought Burruss's request for a confidentiality order. He claimed that she had talked about the divorce with various media outlets. Tucker said he was the one who had refrained from talking about the split, saying, quote, Burruss had engaged in public press tour, including making statements directly and through her agents to multiple media outlets, and has continued to publicize the existence of substance of the litigation on social media and in the press. This according to what his motion had said. Now, having voluntarily placed the proceedings into the public domain, Burruss cannot now credibly claim that sealing the case is necessary to protect the integrity of the proceedings or the best interest in the minor children. Tucker's lawyer also added, rather the requested relief appears aimed at selectively restricting public access in order to control the narrative of a dispute that Burruss herself has chosen to make public. Now, a judge has yet to rule on their request. They also said, as you already know, look, she filed for divorce back in November and wanted joint custody, later changed the request to primary custody after he asked for sole custody. In his response, filing, oh no, hell no. First of all, I'm the one out here, I wanted joint custody. I was trying to be nice about it. But now you want to come out here to you want sole custody because you want me to take care of your ass, because we all know that Kandi is the one with the coins and Todd is just Todd. Because quiet as it's kept, Kandi already had, Escape, and she came on Real Housewives of Atlanta, and he worked behind the scenes on that show. And then because they fell in love or whatever the case was, he could not, because it'd be a conflict of interest, he could not work on the reality show and still be hunching one of the actors, because they'd probably people say it's favoritism. So he had went from becoming a guy that worked behind the scenes to being talent. And so with that, Kandi, to me, it always seemed like because of her cachet and her being well known and stuff, he benefited wholeheartedly for being attached to Kandi Burruss. Quiet as his kept. I know some people want to feel like whatever, but it's like Kandi is the one with the bigger name. She is the star, and he's going to benefit wholeheartedly for being Mrs. Kandi Burruss. And she was trying to, and as many of these women do, a lot of these women who are in strong, in positions where they're more or less, no shade, but I just got to call it for what it is, the alpha male of the relationship. A lot of these women want to include these men in their stuff, be it Kandi Burruss, Wendy Williams, or people of that ilk. They try to incorporate their husbands into things, but then it's like they want the woman to sit at home and spend time and cook and clean. It's like, but that wasn't me when you met me. You knew who I was. You knew I was a hustler. You knew I was the one that was always out here trying to get the bag and keep a career and keep the money coming in and stuff. Because I got a lot of mouths to feed. I'm not just feeding my kids and you. I got to take care of my mother too and a bunch of other people. She probably taking care of the whole damn family. She probably taking care of Aunt Bertha and all of them too. So I don't think it's just, all the old lady game where she had to incorporate them with their own restaurant. I think the restaurant closed down since then, but she had to incorporate and include them in things as well. So hopefully they're able to work it out. This is always messy when kids are involved. And they're, if there's ways that he's going about trying to sabotage her mommy and me time with the kids, I do feel that it's kind of ugly. But so yeah, that's all we have on this right now. I will definitely keep abreast of this story as it develops, because it is a developing story. But in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all in regards to this whole Kandi and Todd debacle. Whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. I'll give Chris credit. He went from pop star to a rap type R&B bad boy because he knew he lost top 40 in pop radio audience. Well, yeah, if it's like you're not going to get those pop kids or whatever the case was because of the whole situation, you might as well transition to being the Bobby Brown of your generation. The gens, what is it? It would be the millennial, because he would be considered millennial if he's 35, right? So it's like the millennial Bobby Brown. Might as well go into that direction. And I was trying to think, Bobby Brown's what, Gen X? So yeah, that would be the smart thing for him to do. But anyway, let's get back into the show. And let's talk about something we've been talking about weeks ago, but apparently the rest of the mainstream done caught up to this tea. So apparently, NeNe Leakes is officially back on Bravo. It is not the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but she is going to be doing, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. So they decided to create a new show, because we can't get Ultimate Girls Trip because it was, what happened with that show. I think still with the Brandy Glanville, Caroline Manzo debacle, we probably never going to even get that show. So they got to find a way to revamp it. So I guess what it is they're going to have a bunch of girls on a road trip, and they stop at all these different places, and all certain housewives are going to be throwing like parties or whatever the case is. So that I believe is the whole premise. But anyway, let's get into the story. Shout out to the Daily Mail for this. The 58-year-old media personality who claimed to have been pushed out of the reality series in late 2020. That's how long ago she's been off the show? It's been like, what, almost 5 years? It might be 5 years. Yeah, about 5 years, because I'm not counting 2026 yet. If we get deep into 2026, then I guess we can consider that the 6 year. But so far, we'll leave it as 5. So she's getting ready to join, as I said, Ultimate Girls Trip, Real Housewives. Executive producer Andy Cohen announced a spinoff show during BravoCon in November, but didn't say who would round out the cast. The show, which coincides with the Real Housewives 20th anniversary, will feature cast members from multiple franchises. Leakes will not be on the new show full time, but will appear when the show stops in Atlanta, sources told TMZ. So yeah, it's like they're going to have, like I said, it's supposed to be a road trip. The girls are traveling. I don't know whoever the main cast of girls are. They're going to be traveling, then they're going to make a stop, and I guess that whichever place that they stop at, a party will be thrown and appearances will be made. But who knows? Maybe this will be a launching pad for NeNe to possibly come back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So she said, remember, she said, I left because I was being pushed out. This is what she told Extra about her decision to leave ROA in October of 2020. If you were working at McDonald's, working 40 hours a week, they drop you. Why it gotta be McDonald's? You couldn't have aimed higher with the job. You should have said something edible like Shake Shack. Child, even though I hate them, I would even threw Chick-fil-A up in there. Or maybe Kava. Kava got some good food. I've been eating there a lot lately. I said something's so she said, they would drop you down. Now, you've been working 40 hours a week. They drop you down to 20 hours. They drop you down to 15. They drop you down to 10. It's obvious that they want you to quit. Something is very wrong with going from 18 to 23 episodes down to 6. In the last 4 or 5 years, it's been less and less. Things just didn't feel fair. She also told ET Online, I left the show. I had an offer on the table. I did not like the offer. I did not think the offer was a fair offer. She also announced on YouTube in September 2020 that she was leaving months after the new season began filming. She told her fans, I've been on an extremely, extremely long, exhausting, tiring, emotional negotiation. There has been a lot of emotion flying from both sides, and I've made the very hard and difficult decision not to be part of the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 13. It wasn't an easy decision for me. It was hard. And funny enough, as big as NeNe was, I'm surprised she didn't really parlay her career into other things. I definitely thought like she should have made it work with doing the YouTube talk show thing. It don't seem like to me that she was really pushing for that. Like she has the gift for gab. She could be doing what I'm doing right now, which is like talking entertainment news and gossip. That would have been a really good direction for her to go into. But it just feels like NeNe gives me lazy. That's what it gives me when it comes to her. And after everything that you went through with Bravo, you decide to grovel and go back to them. Like, I guess it's great, but to me, I just feel like it's a corny ass move. I'm not going back to my old stomping ground after they done treated me like shit. You got to be out your ever loving my yes. Call me stubborn. Call me full of pride, whatever. Pride or deep love. You could call me prideful or whatever the case. Oh, I don't give a good goddamn. What I'm not going to do is go back to my old stomping ground after they done shit it all over me and treat me like I was a piece of crap. I'm just going to have to find something else to do or be able to go from the mainstream like so many others have. When you find me from the mainstream thing, I'm going to take my butt over to the social media and create my own thing. I know maybe it's not easy to compare these two, but it's similar to like, when you look at a Joy Reid or a Don Lemon, they were treated like crap over at CNN and MSNBC respectfully. And what they do after Don Lemon was fired and got his $25 million that they were supposed to owe him because they reneged on his contract. So he was able to walk away with his $25 million, use that money to launch his own channel where he gets to talk about real hot topics or whatever the case is, political and celebrity based. And he's built his own thing and he doesn't need CNN. Yes, he don't get the same numbers in the same situation. Who cares though? So this right here, YouTube, all this other, this is the future. So she should have figured out a way to try to parlay her career beyond that. But to me, I don't feel like NeNe had the right people in her corner to help her catapult her career into doing bigger and better things outside of the Housewives. Because that would have been the perfect time for her to be capitalizing. But she was so busy out here happy. She getting them old mediocre ass roles over there on them Ryan Murphy shows. That's what she was happy about. And the little crumbs they was giving her. She ain't see the big picture. Now, coming back to Bravo, I guess it's a cute little coin for now. But it also makes me wonder this. Do you think she should come back? Like, I guess people really, I guess the momentum, they would be excited. Do y'all think she should come back to the Housewives of Atlanta? I mean, quiet as a kept, that show was a chop any damn way. None of them women over there are interesting or entertaining at all. Do y'all think that she should go back to the Housewives of Atlanta? I mean, I guess the excitement of, oh yay, she's back on the show that made her a star. That's cute or whatever. But I feel like the dust will settle the second that we see it, her on the screen. It's like, okay, it was cute, but what's it giving? So at the end of the day, I had to try to turn this into something because I feel like weeks ago we already talked about NeNe being on the damn show. So I had to take this topic in a completely different direction to make it entertaining. But nevertheless, I want to ask all of y'all, what do you guys think of this story regarding NeNe Leakes making a return to Bravo that we talked about a while back? that she was coming back to Bravo. Now it's official, Tissue. What do you think of her coming and making an appearance on their new spinoff series, The Real Housewives Ultimate Road Trip? I'll definitely check it out, but depending on who they have a part of the cast that's going to be going on this road trip. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's move on to our second to the last topic. And let's talk about Riri. So now the fans out here, the Rihanna Navy, they about getting sick of Riri. I almost said I wanted to say Riri and then Rihanna, but I couldn't decide, so I was trying to merge it. Anyway, it was a fail. But let's start that over. So the Rihanna Navy is kind of irritated at Riri because now she's talking about she want to have another damn baby. And these people are like, the only thing we want you giving birth to is this new album that you've been having us wait too damn long for to release. So, according to the story that I'm going to get into page 6, they said that Rihanna hinted that she is ready for a fourth baby with ASAP Rocky just months after the pop star gave birth to her daughter Rocky. I'm noticing y'all doing this R thing because they have RZA, Riot, and Rocky. And they're all under the age of 5. RZA's 3, Riot is 2, and Rocky is 4 months. I like the fact that every year she's popping out them kids. And that's the best time to have your kids, have them back to back, and have them while you're still young and fertile. She did say she wants a big family. But I understand why people are frustrated. But look, and I was going to use this as an excuse. I was going to say Rihanna had more kids than she had albums. But I can't say that because she's released 8 records. She has 3 children. The only person we can say that had more albums than kids is Cardi B. Because it took her forever to release her sophomore album, and she got 4 children. So on Saturday, Love Island alum Montana Brown took to Instagram to share a video of herself pondering whether to get pregnant again, saying deciding to get hot and sexy or get pregnant in 2026. Reality star who shares 2 children with her fiance, professional rugby player Mark O'Connor, wrote atop the clip. Decisions, hashtag motherhood, hashtag parenthood, hashtag relatable, Brown 30 captioned in the post. Rihanna, who shares 3 kids, as I stated, with Rocky, seemed to have similar thoughts. And yeah, so she was in the comments, she said, wait, so I'm not crazy then, bet. Now, fans reacted to the mom of 3's remark with mixed reactions about her expanding her baby while expanding her family, without, while putting music on the back burner. One person at Bad Gallery need to be pregnant with an album, sis. Another person said, baby, please, let us get the album first. Another person said, we vote for hot, sexy, and album release, said a third netizen. Bad girl Riri, not you, Rihanna, you done enough. Not y'all trying to put roots on her uterus, telling her you had enough kids. Last September, as y'all know, Rihanna, who is 37, announced she had given birth to her 3rd baby with Rocky, also 37. But here's the thing. On one situation, I will say this. I would love for Rihanna to put out new music, but I truly feel in my heart of hearts, she's tugging on y'all. She messing with y'all. I don't think Rihanna has any intention, and if she does come out with an album, I'll eat my words. But I do not feel like Rihanna wants to have children. Wants to release new music. I think she's done. I think she's moved on. I think that because she's made billions not having to release music, she's done all she had to do, paid her dues with this industry, and the industry ain't shit, quiet as a scat. We're talking about the music industry. And she's made more or less her coins. Her billion-dollar status comes from all the business deals that she has done, and with Savage Fenty and all that other stuff, that it's like, I know we want new music, but if her heart ain't into it, then I don't need her to force herself to put out music. Look, her man ASAP Rocky has a new album coming out this week, which I'm actually looking forward to. So I'll definitely be featuring his stuff. If she doesn't want to put out music right now, I just wish she would stop gaslighting her fans and just tell y'all that I'm done with music. I'm officially not ready to put new stuff out. But I will say this, her child, Rocky Irish Mayers, is a Virgo. Shout out to my Virgo gang. September 13th, 2025 was when the baby was born. You said Savage Fenty, and she got Fenty Beauty, and she's got all these other things that she has going on. And then of course we got ASAP Rocky, whose real name is Rakim. So yeah. So in a perfect world, I know like people are mad. They're like, girl, we want a new album. We tired of you just pushing out babies. But I look at it this way also before I forget. Rihanna's 37. Y'all know it ain't a lot for, it's the window for women to have children. They got to get it before they hit their 40s or whatever the case is, because that's when all the complications, especially if you're a black woman, starts. So, I mean, it's probably starting around now too, because she is on the later side of 30. I didn't even realize she was older than Chris Brown. Chris Brown was 35 and she's 37. So I never realized that I think I forgot about that she was older than him. But yeah, so girl, whatever decision she's gonna make, she's gonna make it. But at the end of the day, I hope that she decides to put out music. But she'll have another baby before that happens. Because with ASAP Rocky album go to #1, oh trust and believe, she's gonna end up pregnant again. So I say all this to say, because that'll be the celebration pregnancy. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Riri Tamashi want to have more children? And the fans getting upset about said, you've been having us wait long enough, almost a decade, for this new album to come out, and you still out here trying to push out more children. Give your coochie a rest. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so now everybody, let's get into our final topic. And let's give a huge congratulations to the one and only Bob the Drag Queen, who has his very own comedy special hitting Hulu this week. So Bob the Drag Queen is about to bring his hilarious and unfiltered comedy show to College Street Music Hall during his This Is Wild World Tour. So, and it's coming to Hulu on January 16th. So the comedian and drag performer, whose real name is Caldwell Tiddeque, is best known for winning season 8 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Her new tour is produced by Comedy Dynamics and directed by the company's founder and CEO, Brian Volk Weiss, who executive produces alongside Bob and Cisco Henson. Saying, quote, Bob's new special is absolutely hilarious front to back, said Volk Weiss. Bob is one of those performers that seems to have been born for the stage, and that shines through in her new special. This Is Wild joins Hulu's lineup of specials known as Hulularious, or Hularious, which also includes hours from Sebastian Maniscalco. I actually worked his show. It was actually pretty funny. I think it was the show that y'all saw in that special. I worked that one. Bill Burr, Ilana Glazer, Kamal Nanjiani, and Jim Gaffigan, and a bunch of others. Now, Bob has previously put out 2 full-length comedy specials, 2020's Live at Caroline's and 2023's Woke Man in a Dress. She also has a couple of TV specials under her belt, 2017's Suspiciously Large Woman and 2019's Crazy Black Lady. Her unscripted TV series, We're Here, landed her a Peabody Award, GLAAD Media Award, and a Television Academy Honors recognition. Her podcast, Sibling Rivalry with Monet Exchange, has also netted her a Queerty Award and GLAAD Media Award, and she recently helped launch a new podcast called Quit Playing via her Purse First Studios banner. Oh yeah, and I did watch, I didn't get to see the whole thing, but I did get to see the video that she did talking about the whole Ginger Minge fiasco. I did watch a little bit of it, but I had to cut it off because I had to start the live on this show. So I ain't get to watch the whole thing, but I'm going to catch it and finish watching it and give my full opinion on it when I get around to finishing the whole thing, because it was like it's like a half an hour. And I need to watch that Keke Palmer interview that Bob just did recently. Unscripted HBO series. Oh, wait, I read that part. And then also they said Bob has also guest starred in The Traitors, Dr. Odyssey, and The Simpsons, and has published a novel titled Harriet Tubman Live in Concert. Bob is gearing up to embark on a spring and summer comedy tour as she works on a brand new hour. She is rep by UTA and managed by Producer Entertainment Group. Oh yeah, I don't know about PEG. I've been to their studio in LA. And Surefire Media. So shout out to Bob. This is all well deserved. And it's funny how when you hear people like Trinity, the talk about how drag is so oversaturated, because she went on what's his name, Mitch Churi chat show. Mitch Churi, I think his name is Mitch Churi chat show. Say that 10 times fast. So yeah, she went on his show, and this clip was sent by Felix yesterday. So I was like, oh yeah, this would be perfect for me to even incorporate in this, because Trinity was going around saying like, oh yeah, drag is so saturated now, and a lot of the girls aren't getting bookings. And like what Onyx said earlier when we were talking about that briefly before I got to this topic, you know, the girls that are working. And if you're just thinking that, if you can't only think beyond just doing the shows at your local drag bar or whatever, which is what you were doing before you got on Drag Race, and now you're thinking, oh, because I'm on Drag Race, I'm going to get more bookings at clubs. It's not a lot of promoters going around. It's not a lot of clubs going around. We already got this this regime. I'm not even going to call it administration anymore. This regime, this Trump regime, cracking down on anybody who is a white male and a Nazi. So they're going after the picking on the drag queens and the trans people and all this other stuff. There's not a lot of clubs that's going around in New York. So if you don't have something where you could step outside that stereotypical nightlife box, like about the drag queen or a Bianca Del Rio and so many others who have been able to parlay a career outside of just doing the bars and the clubs, then yeah, you're not going to get a lot of bookings. But anyway, so I have that clip. We're going to play that clip for y'all in case y'all didn't see it, and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
There's girls from this last season who I know for a fact are not working.
A lot of people say that season 9 was the last great season of Drag Race.
I mean, it was the start of a whole different chapter, because like the way they did the finale.
Yes.
And then, you know, they started churning out international seasons. And so then it's become a conveyor belt, which I love. I think it's great. I think it's great for the culture. I think it's great for the business of drag.
I agree.
If we're not seen, we're not going to be moving forward.
Yep.
But it does make it less unique. Girls that make it to the finale, they're not getting booked now.
Right.
Oh, girl, there's girls from this last season who I know for a fact are not working.
Really?
Not really.
But
no.
why is that? Because there's just
so many. There's an overabundance.
I just wanted to freeze on Trinity. That's why I was letting that play. But anyway, so yeah, I wanted to put that out there, and it was just like, yeah, I do feel like, I mean, as much as I love Drag Race and I love the art of drag, I do feel like the uniqueness about drag is gone because it's gone mainstream. That's why I always say, like, we need other iterations of drag being shown besides what Drag Race is doing. Because yeah, there are too many spinoffs. There's too many shows around it. The All Stars that comes out annually now, and it shouldn't. An All-Star season shouldn't be an annual thing, because now you're being oversaturated. And I guess it's good because these girls coming back to compete over and over and over and over and over again, on Drag Race, it does help them have some type of, like, get some kind of money in a pocket or whatever the case. So maybe that's one of the reasons why they keep it going. But yeah, so with all that being said, I'm happy for you, Bob. I'm glad that your career is parlayed into what it is. And yeah, I guess season 9 was the last true good season of Drag Race, because that was the season that Bob the Drag Queen won on, right? So I say all this to say, wait, hold on, what was the people saying in the comments? Well, Felix said there's so many I don't even get to see. When I saw Global All Stars, that was terrible. Was the first time I ever heard of a lot of those queens. Another person said, I agree with Trinity. The brand has been overexposed and the market has been oversaturated. Someone said, meh, I think season 12 was the last great one for me. Season 9 has most of the winners, I think. Another person said season 9 was okay, season 12 was amazing, and also season 16 was great too. So no, season 9 was not the last great season. Well, it's to each his own. Everybody has their opinions. Another person said the last couple of seasons, the gals are too young and not seasoned. There is a reason the queens from earlier seasons are still in demand and working. That is true, because it's like outside the show, Nicole Page Brooks, so many of the other girls working. Oh, shout out to Mystique, because remember Mystique, bitch, I am from Chicago. She followed me on TikTok. I love the icons of yesteryear. So a lot of the girls who are icons within the Drag Race world, they're still booked and busy. They're still working. But yeah, but then you have those queens, and I really feel like they need to iterate this. There are the queens that get into Drag Race or want to do drag and get into Drag Race because they feel like it's going to parlay them into a bigger career. If you're getting into it for that reason, you're an idiot. You have to truly love the art of what you do, regardless if it's drag, if it's singing, if it's dancing, whatever the case is. If you're trying to do it for pretentious reasons, people can see through all of that. So I think those are the ones that you got to worry about. Yeah, they're not the ones really getting booked. And so, at the end of the day, shout out to all the girls out here who are booked and busy and getting the work and hustling and finding other things in order to articulate their drag. And shout out to Bob, because Bob stay out here with a job. You know, the multiple podcasts and the comedy specials and being the MC at Madonna's last tour. Like, the girls stay with a check. So I'll say all this to say, what are your thoughts on this whole matter regarding Bob and the video regarding what Trinity had to say? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I saw a video of Trinity K. Bonet popping up. Houston men said they're gentlemen. Well, Houston is more or less, isn't it more like a democratic, more open-minded part of Texas? Because you do have those red state parts. And that was like the whole thing when you had Matt Rodgers and Bone Yang out here saying the foolishness they were saying. I'm like, if you're not well versed on politics, because I had somebody in my comments when I posted up on TikTok, aren't people entitled to their opinion? And I hate when you agree with someone and you don't agree with, or if it's as a way to throw shade at Jasmine Crockett for whatever reason your biases are with her, and you have a right to criticize who you want to criticize. But if you're going to tell people not to vote somebody, I always said you need to have your reasons. What is it about James Tallarico that is a better choice than Jasmine Crockett? Because I just saw a story that James Tallarico wants to send money and arms and stuff to Israel. So you all for a Zionist. Okay. So this is who you want us to pick over Jasmine Crockett. And trust me, believe, I have my issues with her at times in the way of her voting for bills and stuff with Israel and stuff. But I understand, like, when you throw these packages and things all together, they have to dilute it in a way to get certain things passed. So things get jumbled up in things and things get complicated. Politics is not black and white. So I understand why some people make drastic decisions that they make or whatever the case was, even if I don't 110% agree with it. But if you feel like he's a better alternative, I need you to come and give me a list of reasons why you would think these people should vote. And you can't tell people to not vote for somebody if you don't even live in the state. I can totally understand, like, if Zohran Mamdani was running, which he won already, stay mad for those of you who are mad at that he's the mayor. You should have spoke on that. But, I don't like Zohran Mamdani. This is why you should vote for Cuomo. I'm just using that as an example because that's something you have a stake in. You live in New York, so speak on New York shit. I'm not going to speak on something about another state if I'm not well versed on it, which is why when I did that story, I brought up the Instagram video of the girl who lives in Texas and understands Texas politics. And so I felt like if I can't speak on it, I'm going to let these people let you know. So you come in with the information. You don't just give a blanket statement and you don't back it up. Quiet as it's kept, I don't go to Las Culturistas, which I don't understand how a white queen and an Asian queen are using Latin words to make a career. Or like Las Culturistas ain't shit Hispanic about y'all. So why are you even calling your show that? Make that make sense. But to me, I've always looked at those two as one is opportunistic and feels like his assimilation of whiteness will get him better opportunities, and the other one's a culture vulture. Because y'all sit up there doing all the little black mannerisms and doing all the stuff and quoting Lizzo and all the other stuff, thinking that y'all cute. So y'all like to use the black people. You want the black people's rhythm, but you don't want the blues, which I always find hilarious, which goes to show your racism is showing. Okay. Ginger Bench come back 4 times. I like that this season has older. You want to know something? I do like the fact that this season has much older queens, which is in their 30s, whatever the case is. But I will say this. Upon thinking about episode 2, because I don't know if I really went in as harsh as I could have with episode 2. I enjoyed the beginning, the first half of episode 2. Once they got to, one of the things that irritated me was how NeNe Coco lose her voice. Oh, I'm gonna knock my microphone over. How NeNe Coco, how did you have oh, she lost her voice, that sort of thing, and you didn't know she was going to make it through the song, and they were going to bring her back the next day, right? But you don't even show her coming back the next day to do her vocals. What was the follow-up on that? Also, it's like once we got to the performances, I don't like any of the performances, of course, except for the punk performance. I thought the song was better, the lyrics were better, and the performance was better. Everybody else was a chop. And that's no shade. I'm just saying, it's like I just didn't feel those other girl groups. And then the show was kind of boring. It kind of fell off. So half of it was good, half of it was meh. So, and then I'm hearing rumors that this is a kumbaya season. If y'all gonna be up in here trying to act like y'all all besties, I'm tuning out. Like, y'all not gonna bore me to death with this season of Drag Race. I need some drama. I'm not saying y'all need to cook up drama for drama's sake, but it needs to be entertaining. And if y'all not gonna entertain me, then I'm gonna chop this damn show and just go back and watch season 4, 5, and 6 again. Ad nauseum, because those are the most dramatic seasons. Or it might be 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, because those were the most dramatic seasons. Starting with Tyra Sanchez and her shenanigans. All right, y'all. So it looks like we're at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll see if I can be on tomorrow and give y'all a new episode of the show. In the meantime, love you all for watching. Thank you all for your continued support, per usual. And until next time, ciao, darlings.